Hello, good afternoon. My name is Richard. This is over and over and over again. This is Matchday Live. It is Arsenal versus Fulham from the Emirates, of course. Arsenal looking to make it 3 wins out of 3, whereas Fulham have never actually won away at Arsenal. So we know who the favourites are to win this game. Let's see how it works out. All coming up the other side of this. Now, we've got some team news for you, of course, as you would expect. And this is how the teams line up today. Then, so for Arsenal, in goal, Aaron Ramsdale. It looks like a back 4, but it'll end up being a back 3. Thomas Partey on the right. Ben White, William Saliba, and Jacob Kiwior comes in on the left side there. In midfield, it is Declan Rice, Captain Martin Odegaard, and Kai Havertz. And then the front 3, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and it is Leandro Trossard gets a start. Looks as though he's going to be playing in that false 9 role. Good to see him back in the starting 11 today. On the bench, then goalkeeper David Raya, Gabriel on the bench again. Wow, what is happening there? Zinchenko, Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, Gabriel Jesus, of course, is only fitting up for the bench today, and Eddie Nketiah. For Fulham, and this is how they line up, of course, in goal for them, our very own ex-goalkeeper ourselves, Bernd Leno, of course. Hope he's not wearing that red jersey today. It might get a bit confusing, mightn't it? They're back for Kenny Tete, Issa Diop, Calvin Bassey, and Anthony Robinson. In midfield, it is Sasha Lucic, João Paulinho, and Andreas Pereira. And their front 3 is Harry Wilson, Raul Jimenez, and Bobby De Cordova-Reid. On the bench for them is goalkeeper Marek Rodak. It is Adebayo Tosin, it is Harrison Reed, Kevin Mabaju, Muniz Carvalho, Tom Kearney, Luke Harris, Adama Traore, and Carlos Vinicius. So they are your team nights. What do you make of that Arsenal lineup again? Thomas Partey in this inverted right back role, which I don't like personally, but that's where he is again. What we're making of that? Jacob Kiwior coming in, no Gabriel again in the starting lineup. The rumours, of course, that he may be leaving. Arteta, of course, dismissed him yesterday, didn't he, in the press conference, but he's not in the starting lineup again. Before he was saying it was to do with the opposition. Fulham at home. Why do we need to worry too much about the opposition? We should be playing our strongest 11, if you like. And I don't consider Ben White and Saliba as our best partnership there. It is Gabriel, isn't it, and Saliba. So I'm not sure what's going on there, actually. But anyway, let's see what happens. We did, of course, win on Monday night with a similar team. Steve's in the chat all the way from Australia, says, go Gunners, turn it on today. No mucking around. Well, no mucking around. I'm mucking around with the team lineup. But anyway, Regen's in. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Regen's gone 5-0 to the Arsenal. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Get your predictions in, guys, what you think the score will be. We've got Nathan in the chat, as always. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. He says, hi, Rich and everyone. Regenda says Spurs won 2-0 away. They did. They've just won 2-0 away at Bournemouth. They are currently sitting top of the league, but we know that's not going to last long, do we? So we can laugh at them for a little while. Regenda says, Rich, got with your Trossard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we were saying this, wasn't we? We wanted Trossard to be playing instead of Eddie, and that's what we've got to. Let's hope it works. Nathan says at Bournemouth were poor, to be fair. I only just watched the last 10 minutes, to be honest with you. It was obviously 2-0 at Tottenham. They seemed fairly comfortable, to be fair. They're playing quite well, let's be honest. Regenda says playing a team that Norris gave Norris gave up for Arsenal. Oh, yeah, so I mean, yeah, back in the day, of course, yeah, Henry Norris, of course, what he wanted to do was amalgamate Fulham and Arsenal, didn't he? And make them into one London super club was his plan. The FA weren't having none of that, so he ended up moving Arsenal to Highbury instead. So we've got a little bit to thank Fulham for, maybe, haven't we? Because Henry Norris was, of course, attached to them before he came to Arsenal. So yeah, Fulham, of course, they've never won an away game at Arsenal, actually, ever in their whole history. The nearest they came was a couple of years ago, if you remember, the game during the COVID season it was, and they were winning 1-0, and it was actually Eddie Nketiah came off the bench and scored the equaliser in about the 98th minute or something, and that's the nearest Forest have ever come to Fulham have ever come to winning a game away at Arsenal. So they've started okay, haven't they? They've had a 1 win and 1 defeat. They've got some good players, actually, haven't they? Obviously Raul Jimenez will not have too many fond memories of this stadium, will he? It was here that he got his injury, of course, playing for Wolves in 2020, wasn't it? That terrible head injury, that challenge with David Luiz. So he's back at the Emirates today. Obviously, we wish him well in his career. Good to see him playing again. But yeah, obviously, hopefully today he won't score I didn't realise actually Adama Traore had joined Fulham. He's on the bench as well. Of course, those two linked up really well at Wolves, didn't they? So we'll see. But of course, for us, we've got Gabriel Jesus. How fit is he? Obviously, he's on the bench today. He must be fit enough to play some part in the game, hopefully. But we'll have to wait and see exactly how much of a role he's going to play today. But he is on the bench, which is good news, isn't it? Let's hope he can get on at some point and start working his way back to full fitness so he can play a lot more, because he's going to be an important player, isn't he, for this team? But my concern is still this defensive shape. I'm not overly keen on it. Thomas Partey is probably our strongest midfield player, alongside Declan Rice. And it seems as though Mikel Arteta is determined to keep Kai Havertz in the team. I'm not saying he should be looking to get rid of Kai Havertz from the team. I'm not saying that at all, because Kai Havertz has been playing okay. But surely Thomas Partey is our best midfield player, isn't he? So you would imagine that surely you would pick your best midfield player to be starting the team in midfield, wouldn't you, rather than playing him in sort of an inverted right back role, which Ben White got that off pat, didn't he, last season? He was brilliant. So yeah, strange decision, but so far it's working, isn't it? 3 wins out of 3. We can't exactly complain too much, can we? Let's be honest. If we keep winning the games, it's fine, isn't it? But yeah, it's a worry for me. I'm not overly keen on that team lineup, if I'm honest. But anyway, let's see how it. Well, I don't personally think it's worked particularly well. That's my issue with it. When we've played it, we haven't always looked that great, have we? So I'm a little bit concerned, in why Mikel Arteta is persisting with it, because to me it hasn't really worked. But anyway, it's up to him. Let's crack on. Let's hopefully we can win the game. Terry says, good evening, good afternoon, Richard Vajendra, Nathan, Stephen, all in the chat. Hope you're all well. And have plenty to say in the chat indeed. Yeah, come on, you Gunners. I'll take her out, says Terry already. Well, let's not quite get too carried away with that yet. There's only two games played. Steve says, well, Terry, I'll take her out already. Well, let Terry have his word. That's fine. Nathan says, hi, Terry. Jimenez was some player before his injury. He was brilliant, wasn't he, at Wolves? And it is obviously a massive shame what happened to him that particular day. He's never quite been the same since, has he? Hopefully he can get his career back on track, because he was and he is a very, very good player, isn't he, on his day? So Daniel says also yesterday Chelsea won 3-0. Yeah, but everyone's going to beat Luton, aren't they? They're terrible, let's be honest. So I won't worry too much about that result. Terry says, Steve, it's been 3 years, if the truth be known, for me. Well, I mean, it's been 4 years and nearly since Arteta took over, and he hasn't really done enough for me yet with all the money that we've spent. But anyway, Steve says, I think last chance title of FA Cup win. Yeah, and doing well in the Champions League as well. We've got to get top 4 this year again. Magenta says, takes 10 games to integrate new players into the team. Well, you say that, but I mean, the only new players in the team are Rice and Havertz, and I don't think Rice has taken 10 games. Rice has already established himself in the team after 2 games. Havertz might take a little bit longer, I agree, but all the other players were here last season. They've all had plenty of games, haven't they? Even Jacob Kiwior played a few games at the end of last season. Trossard not played as many games as we would like, but it's only really those two. And I would say we can almost discount Declan Rice. He doesn't need 10 games to settle in, because he knows what he's doing. He's played in the Premier League all his career, and we've seen already in his 2 games what he's done, plus in the Community Shield that he's settled in already. So Kai Havertz is the only one you feel might need a little bit of time. And if that's the case, then surely you bring him in more gradually, don't you, rather than starting him, playing him 90 minutes every single game. Maybe that, I don't know. I mean, I've got nothing against Kai Havertz. I know some people aren't that keen on him, and I understand why, but I think he's done okay so far. But yeah, I would have preferred to have seen Partey in there, Rice and Partey, and then Odegaard. Maybe what he's thinking is, it's Fulham at home. Do we need to play 2 more holding midfield players in Rice and Partey? Maybe not. So in that case, then leave out one of them, and you wouldn't leave out Rice, would you? So I don't know. I don't like Partey in that. It's almost like he's just trying to shoehorn him in, and he's not playing Gabriel, and that's a worry for me. What's Gabriel done that we don't know about, that is leading him to be left out of the team? Because he's been first choice for the last 2 seasons, hasn't he? 3 seasons maybe even. So, and he's been consistent. Yes, he makes a few mistakes here and there. Of course, everybody does, but overall he's been good, hasn't he? So I really don't understand what's been going on there with Gabriel. I really don't. Unless it is because he is going to leave. We're going to know soon, aren't we? Because the transfer window shut this week. So we'll soon find out exactly what's happening. Of course, if he's still at the club next weekend, be interesting to see if he's in the team, wouldn't it? Or whether or not he's still going to be on the bench, because I don't know what's going on, really. I've got to be honest. I really don't know what's going on. And I'm just hoping that, you know, it gets sorted out, because Gabriel either needs to be playing in the team or he needs to be sold. One or the other of those things needs to happen. Anyway, the teams are in the tunnel. Fulham been led out by their standing captain, Bobby De Cordova, and of course Arsenal by Martin Odegaard. Fulham are going to be in their traditional white kit with black sleeves, black shorts, and black socks. Arsenal's in the red shirts with white sleeves, white shorts, and white socks, coming out into the Emirates sunshine this afternoon, looking to make it 3 wins out of 3, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Terry says, sack him now, then he may take Havertz with him. Steve says, I wait 5 or 6 weeks before my opinion of it. Yeah, I mean, I think Havertz is slightly different. I know he's played in the Premier League for a while. It's a totally different role he's got to play in this team. I'm prepared to give him a little. I don't think he's done badly anyway, to be honest with you. Nathan says you could just drop Partey deeper and then Rice as a number 8. Yeah, you could do that, yeah. But then you've got Odegaard as well, who's sort of an 8, isn't he? So you're almost playing with 2 8s. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on with it all, to be honest with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, so far, it's so good in the sense that we've won both our games. We haven't played anybody that we wouldn't have expected to have beaten yet. And today's another one, isn't it? Fulham at home. We expect to beat Fulham at the Emirates, don't we? Regardless of which 11's in the team. We're Arsenal and we should beat Fulham at home, quite simply. So today, we're not going to learn too much today, probably, are we? We're not going to learn whether this formation really works. We haven't learned it so far this season, even at the tail end of last season. We haven't really learned if it works yet. We won't know until we're playing someone decent that's going to be able to, we can see and say, well, yeah, we've played a top side, this formation's worked and we've won the game and we've played well, then fair enough. But at the moment, it's just maybe this is the right time to try it out then, perhaps, against the teams that we should be expected to win. But anyway, Terry says, spot on Nathan, my fault's exactly... Nathan says, I've seen Gabriel's been linked to Saudi. Yeah, he has. He's been linked to Saudi. I don't know. Arteta denied it yesterday in a press conference, but he's not going to exactly come out and say it, is he? So I'm not reading too much into that, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm sure there is interest from Saudi, as there seems to be in lots of players at the moment. But is Gabriel going to be leaving? I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens this week, aren't we? But if he's still at the club next week and he doesn't play and he's not in the starting lineup, and to me, that's the time we have to start thinking something else is going on here between those two. I mean, Arteta seems to have fallen out with quite a few players in the time he's been there. Players have been thrown onto the bench and we don't hardly see him again, and then they leave. And is that what's happening with Gabriel? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, isn't it? The last few days of the transfer window is always quite interesting, isn't it? Rajendra says there, a tactical move for Partey versus Gabriel to get more midfielders while playing teams with low block. Yeah, but I don't know. You see, Gabriel, to me, Ben White was doing that great job, wasn't he, on that right-sided role for most of last season, you know. And one of the strengths we had last season in that first half of the season when we were so strong, 50 points from 19 games, was with Gabriel and Saliba as the two defenders. And it was when Saliba got injured and we had to break up that defence, so things started to fall apart. Now Gabriel's fit, Saliba's fit. Why is he not playing them together? It doesn't make sense, does it? So I don't believe it is tactical at all. I don't really believe that it is. I think that it's something else has gone on. I really do think it has. You know, you wouldn't put Ben White back. Ben White isn't a great central defender. He's not. He's better in that right. I didn't think he was going to be a particularly good right wing back, but he actually did that role really well, didn't he? So anyway, Nathan says that Fulham kit is very nice. It is very nice, indeed. It is very nice. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be Arsenal to kick off, attacking the goal to our right, the clock end here at the Emirates. Terry says, hope Trossard 8-man in a match today, otherwise he won't play again until February. Well, he won't start until February, you're right. Daniel says, is Zinchenko not 100% fit as yet? Well, let's hope he's never 100% fit, because he's a liability when he plays. But anyway, we have kicks off here at the Emirates. Arsenal against Fulham. The ball's back with Aaron Ramsdale, all in blue, still in goal for Arsenal. I only think it's a matter of time until he is misplayed, sort of overtaken by David Raya. But anyway, we'll see. At the moment, he's in the team. Ben White now on his near side, plays it back to Thomas Partey, who's more of a central defender at the moment. And then it was Declan Rice plays it back to Aaron Ramsdale. Mark C says there, maybe I'm too old-fashioned in my thinking, but we had a solid back four for most of last season, and Ben White was solid for us at right back. So why are we messing with the back line? No, exactly. I agree 100%, Mark. And, you know, I totally 100% agree with you. That was our best. We've just given the ball away in a dangerous situation. Fulham are in. Ramsdale slipped, and Fulham have scored inside the first minute. It's an absolute disaster from Arsenal. We gave the ball away, and it is who scored? Is it Andreas? It is Andreas Pereira inside the first minute. Was it Bukayo Saka gave the ball away? What a terrible start this has been from Arsenal. Absolute disaster of a goal that was there. We just gave the ball away in a dangerous area of the pitch. It didn't help Aaron Ramsdale slipped as well as Pereira ran through, and he scored from the edge of the box. And Fulham have the lead inside the first minute. And we've seen this happen before at the Emirates, haven't we? We saw it happen a few times last season. It was Ben White played the ball into, I'm trying to think who he played it into. It's Havertz said, and it was Saka. It was Saka's ball, actually. It was a terrible ball. And Andreas, it was quite a long way out. It was 30 yards out. Leno slipped, which didn't really help, actually. But he was running back into his goal. He sort of slipped over, but it's a good finish, actually. He was nowhere near in position, but it's a terrible ball from Bukayo Saka. And Fulham have scored inside the first minute. Wow, what an incredible start to this game. It's got the Bournemouth and Southampton vibes all over it again, hasn't it, from last season, if you remember. That's a clever finish, actually, from Andreas Pereira, clipping the ball home from quite a long way out there. He saw that Ramsdale wasn't in position. And Arsenal have started the game really, really badly at home again. Not for the first time, as we said, and Fulham lead 1-0. Wow, what a shock that is to the system. The good news is there is still plenty of time for Arsenal to sort this out and get ourselves back in the game. But that is a dreadful start, isn't it? And a terrible goal to concede as well. Really, really poor. Almost Sunday League type goal to concede. And Arsenal trying to come forward again now over on that far side. It's Gabriel Martinelli gets to the byline. Can he pull the ball back? He's run it out of play. Should have maybe pulled it back when he had the opportunity just before he tried to take it on one more. And it's gone behind for a goal kick. Nathan says not a good start at all. No, it certainly isn't. Terry says, to be fair on Saka, it was a blinding pass if he played for Fulham. Well, it was a lovely through ball, wasn't it? If he played for Fulham, no Fulham midfield player could have played a pass like that, actually. It was a lovely ball. But obviously, from our point of view, not really what we wanted to see so early in the game. And we seem to have a habit of doing this, don't we? At home. I don't know what it is. We can't keep a clean sheet at the Emirates, can we? For love nor money, it's ridiculous. And unfortunately, you're not going to win the Premier League title or too much else if you can't keep clean sheets at home. So it's something we need to sort out quickly, but it's been going on for too long. Anyway, Arsenal are back in possession now. William Saliba plays it out to that far side. Jacob Kiwior, the Pole, who played quite well at the end of the last season, didn't he? Had a few good performances, didn't he? Phil's in the chat, he says, what the hell, well, you should have seen the goal, mate. Honestly, it was a disaster. Rajendra said, should focus the team. Well, let's hope it does focus the team. Let's just hope that we can. The good news is we've got a lot of time, haven't we, to turn this around. And that's a great ball, actually. Martinelli over on that far side inside the penalty area. Gabriel Martinelli clips it to the far post. There's nobody there. It's gone behind. I think it's going to be a goal kick. But that was a good ball, actually, there from Martin Odegaard. It was a switch of play. Found Gabriel Martinelli inside the penalty area. He was cut back inside onto that right foot. Tried to dink across. Trossard was running in at the near post, and the ball went to the far post, and it came to nothing. But Fulham now back in possession again with the goal scorer Andreas Pereira with his bleached blonde hair. It was a really good finish from him, you have to say. But yeah, disaster from Arsenal's point of view. Terry says another clean sheet out the window at home. Yeah, I mean, there's always a goal. We've always got a goal in us against us, haven't we, at home, no matter who we play, no matter what the circumstances of the game. It happened against Forest and it's happened again today. But if you remember last season, we were 1-0 down against Fulham, wasn't we? And we came back, we won 2-1. It was a mistake from Gabriel that gifted Fulham the goal, and he scored the winner. So maybe today Saka's got fought for the goal. And Fulham in behind again. Oh, and there was nearly an opportunity there for Harry Wilson, but the offside flag was up anyway. But good piece of defending that was there from William Saliba. And now Arsenal in position. But again, Fulham got in behind us a little bit too easily there. Rajendra says, so 5-1 to the Arsenal. Well, 5-1 would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, at this moment in time, I'll take a 2-1 because it's been not a very good start, has it? But William Saliba there with a good bit of defending. But Harry Wilson was offside, was he? Oh, I don't know if he was. He may well have been just onside if VAR got involved. But anyway, just he was about to maybe try and chip it over Ramsdale. William Saliba got back with a good tackle anyway. I think the flag did go up. Anyway, Kirior now. Jacob Kirior playing in that left-sided role, plays the ball to this near side to Thomas Partey. Who would have thought last season that we would have Kirior and Thomas Partey as our two fullbacks? Incredible. Anyway, the ball's playing up to this near side now. Martin Odegaard, Arsenal's left, cuts in. Arsenal's right, sorry, cuts in, finds Thomas Partey, twists and turns away from a challenge, gets the ball back to Ben White. Now it is with Declan Rice. We need Declan Rice to get on that ball in midfield, don't we? Thomas Partey on this right-hand side, dinks the ball over the top. Good defensive header it was there from Bassi. Managed to get it away there for Fulham, the Nigerian defender. But Arsenal back in possession inside the centre circle with William Saliba. Pings out to this near side. Thomas Partey is again received a fair bit of the ball on his near side, actually, Thomas Partey. Now it's back with Ben White. And he clips the ball over to that far side. Arsenal's left, Gabriel Martinelli. It's a nice touch from the Brazilian. What's his ball like into the box towards the far post? Over hit though. And he's had 3 opportunities now, Gabriel Martinelli, in these opening 10 minutes. And all 3 times his final delivery has been poor. He needs to step his game up. He's not had a great start to the season, actually, has he, Gabriel Martinelli? We need to see much better quality from him, don't we? We know what he can produce, and he needs to start doing it this season. Anyway, Leno isn't in the red kit, by the way. He's in green. I know that in the picture he was in red, but that was a picture that Fulham put up on Twitter, so it's not my fault. But he's actually in like lime green. A lime green kit, and Ramsdale's in blue. Anyway, it's a free throw into Arsenal. Kirior takes it and finds Leandre Trossard. Now Arsenal coming forward. Thomas Partey at this near side. In fact, he lets it run on to Bukayo Saka. He'll be determined to make up for that mistake for the goal, won't he? Saka plays the ball back to Ben White. I wouldn't be surprised if Saka does get himself on the score sheet. He's on the ball now on the edge of the Fulham penalty. Again, that's a poor ball they're giving away. And now Fulham in transition look quite dangerous, don't they? They're trying to come forward here on this near side with Raul Jimenez looking to get rid of that, the memory of that terrible injury he suffered here in 2020 when he played for Wolves, of course. We all remember that horrible incident. And it's just good to see Jimenez playing again, isn't it, to be honest? Anyway, there's a long ball played up that far side again. It's going to be Gabriel Martinelli looking to get round the back of Kenny Tete. Good defending there, though it was from the Dutch defender for Fulham. The ball's gone out for a goal kick. And that was good defending, actually. Martinelli trying to get in behind again, but not on this particular occasion. And it is Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. We've only played 8 minutes, and already Fulham have scored. They scored inside the first minute. Terrible mistake from Arsenal. Andreas Pereira it was, with the good finish, actually. A decent finish it was from him, but a terrible goal for Arsenal to concede. The ball is now back with Aaron Ramsdale, who's quite a long way outside the penalty and not under any pressure, just plays it short to Ben White in the sunshine here at the Emirates. For 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday at the Emirates. Not often we get too many of them, and I'm sure we won't get too many this season with the Champions League, but we'll see. We've got one today, though, so it's nice to have a 3 o'clock kickoff for a change. That's a long ball again, looking to get Martinelli in over on that far side. That seems to be the plan at the moment, to get those long switches in play. Anyway, now we're still over on that far side with Kirior, finds Kai Havertz. Can he cross it in? He does, but decent header away by Fulham, by Diop it was. But Arsenal still in possession. Now, that's not a great ball, actually. Martin Odegaard's will have to chase after this, but he keeps it in and plays it up the line to Bukayo Saka. Gets it back, Martin Odegaard. And then he goes into the centre circle back to William Saliba. 9 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. Not really the start that we wanted, but I say we've got plenty of time, and we've started to settle down now, knock the ball around with a bit more confidence. But we still haven't really had an opportunity to test our former goalkeeper, Bernd Leno, who I believe is a very, very good goalkeeper, and he's been a good signing for Fulham. They had one of their best ever Premier League seasons last season, didn't they? I think it was their best, the highest ever finish. One of the reasons for that was the performances of Bernd Leno, who was brilliant for them last season, I thought. Anyway, Declan Rice, they're in possession for Arsenal. Are we going to see Declan Rice really get on this ball and start to dictate the play in the middle of the pitch, which we know he can do? That's what we need him to do in this game. Anyway, it's now with Ben White. bringing the ball forward towards halfway, not under any real pressure. Ben White, not a lot of movement in front of him either, actually. So he keeps hold of the ball and then just finds Thomas Partey on this near side. Partey gives it back again to Ben White. Again, there doesn't seem to be much movement in front of him. So Ben White again just keeps hold of the ball. Now Martin Odegaard picks it up and just lays it off to William Saliba. We've played 10 minutes and it's not been a great 10 minutes for Arsenal, let's be honest, but we're trying to put the damage right. We're coming forward again over on that far side with Kiwior, finds Declan Rice, and he plays it square to Ben White. A little bit of space for Ben White now to run into on this near side. Plays up the line to Bukayo Saka. He's going to have a run at Anthony Robinson. Those two have had a few battles in the last couple of seasons, haven't they, in these particular fixtures? And Martin Odegaard now looking for Ben White on this near side. Can he get a cross in, Ben White? He does get a cross in all the way to the far post. Leandro Trossard, that's a good touch. Dinks it in, looking for Martin. Saka's coming in around the far post. It's going to be the equaliser. Oh, no, it's not. It's gone away. Saka headed it back in. It was Kai Havertz, I think, coming in. He looked sure to score, but he's got something on it. Let's have a look at the replay of this. It was a good cross from Ben White, actually. Fine Trossard over on that far side. Nice touch of him. He dinked it in. It was Bukayo Saka. It was pulled it back. Havertz came in. I think it was good defending by was it Issa Diop who got on the end of that there, just as Kai Havertz looked certain to score, and Fulham survive. That was the nearest that we've come so far. And it was good play from Trossard, a really good cross into the box. Saka pulled it back and Kai Havertz couldn't quite get there ahead of Diop to put the ball. It would have been an empty net. But Arsenal now in possession again, and we have started to dominate possession without really doing too much with the ball as yet in the attacking third anyway. But now we're coming forward again with Kai Havertz over on that far side. That's a good ball to Gabriel Martinelli. Gets the ball under control now, looks to try and see if he can get a cross in. But again, he's maybe held up a little bit now. He finds Declan Rice on the edge of the area, gets it back to Martinelli, plays it back again to William Saliba, and now finds Martin Odegaard on his near side. Saka is outside him. Maybe Saka needs to make that run inside, but he's got the ball now. Bukayo Saka plays it back to Ben White. That's a poor ball actually into space. Nobody was there. And Fulham are going to tidy this up with João Paulinho. And it's a throw to Fulham on this near side. That wasn't great play from Arsenal. Nathan says there, these switches to Martinelli are causing Fulham problems. They are, but I think that Martinelli's delivery's not been great, has it? But anyway, let's see. Hopefully it will improve as the game goes on. But yeah, he's getting a lot of the ball, but he's not really doing too much with it at the moment, is he, Martinelli? But anyway, let's see what happens. Anyway, that ball is just going to run through to the arms of Bernd Leno, the German goalkeeper. A great servant for Arsenal, wasn't he? Those years, of course, helped us win the FA Cup in 2020, didn't he? Anyway, the ball goes long from Leno up that far side. But Jacob Kiwior's there just to chest it back to Aaron Ramsdale. 13.5 minutes played at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. Is this going to be one of the early shock results of the season, perhaps? Anyway, a long ball played forward. Again, that's a good ball. It's looking for Kai Havertz. Just ran away from him there. And the goalkeeper, Bernd Leno, came out to get that there with Kai Havertz bearing in on goal. It was a decent ball over the top. It was a good run from Havertz, but the ball just a little bit too much pace there for him. Just ran away from him. And Arsenal now pressing the ball high up the pitch. We've run it back there. Trossard looking to get away. Looked like he may have been fouled. In fact, in the end, he wasn't fouled, and it looks as though Decordova-Reid was fouled as well. But the referee waved play on both of those two occasions. The referee's Paul Tierney, by the way. I'm sure he's a bit upset at his brother Kieran. We're leaving Arsenal, but anyway, we're coming forward on his near side with Bukayo Saka. He's got Paulinho for company, finds Martin Odegaard instead, and Martin Odegaard plays it square into the centre circle to William Saliba. William Saliba gives it back again to Martin Odegaard. Slightly heavy touch to Martin Odegaard. And it was Decordova-Reid, was it, who stepped in there. It's gone out for a throw to Fulham. Martin Odegaard just having a word with the referee there. Not quite sure what his issue was. But anyway, it's going to be a throw to Fulham on this near side. It was a very loose touch there from Martin Odegaard. Oh, Fulham trying to get in behind again over on that far side. But that ball's run all the way through to Aaron Ramsdale. Fulham certainly looking dangerous when they come forward, aren't they? Anyway, Kai Havertz now plays the ball up the far side to Gabriel Martinelli, just keeps it in. He's got Tete for company. Martinelli twists and turns and manages to get the ball back to Jacob Kiwior, gets it back again. Martinelli on the half turn, plays it square to William Saliba. Now it's with Thomas Partey. Arsenal looking to try to find a way to break down this Fulham defence. They've got a lot of bodies behind the ball, as you would expect. Saka now on this near side. Is he going to be the man to open this up? Looking to make up for the mistake of his that did lead to that early goal from Fulham. That's a good ball there from William Saliba again to Martinelli over on that far side. Again, he's faced up with Kenny Tete. And he's forced back. Finds Declan Rice, gets out to that far side to Kiwior. That was a poor ball. And Fulham managed to get it away. Did it go out? I think it has gone out. It's a throw to Arsenal, midway inside the Fulham half over on that far side. It's going to be Jacob Kiwior to take it. January signing, of course. He's done pretty well, hasn't he, in the few games that he's played. Fulham now they're in possession over on that far side, looking to get the ball forward themselves, looking to add to that lead that was gifted to them really inside the first minute. They've got the ball again over on that far side. Harry Wilson there plays it back on Fulham. Just looking to get a bit of possession from them because they haven't had an awful lot. Bernd Leno then kicks it long up this near side. Thomas Partey, well, that's a loose touch from him. Puts himself under pressure. And Arsenal making a few silly mistakes actually in this game so far. And it is a throw now to Arsenal though. Thomas Partey, it was with a mistake there. Heavy touch from him. Terry says, we're knocking the ball around nicely, but ain't creating any good chances. No, we're not. And then when we don't have possession, we're being a bit sloppy, aren't we? Trying to win the ball back, some heavy touches. And it's not been, yeah, I agree. We're very comfortable knocking the ball around, but you'd expect that, wouldn't you? If we can't pass the ball around confidently between ourselves, then there's a problem, isn't there? Because that's one of the things that we've worked so hard on in recent years, and we need to be able to do that well, don't we? You know, we are coming forward now with Leandro Trossard, plays the ball up again to Martinelli, running out that Fulham defence just inside the penalty. Martinelli twists and turns inside. Good save from Bernd Leno. Finally, we forced the German to have to make a save. Good run though from Martinelli again. This time he got his final decision right, didn't it? It was Leandro Trossard this time with a ball. Lovely ball to Martinelli. Great first touch actually. He had a little bit of a run there, got inside the box, inside Tete, and then hit a shot. He couldn't quite get it far enough away from Leno into that far corner, which could have found the net, and it was a good save from Bernd Leno. 17.5 minutes played. Still Fulham lead 1-0, but Arsenal coming forward again. Bukayo Saka on his near side, puts a cross in, looking for the run at the near post there of Leandro Trossard. And this is good play again from Arsenal. We're starting to move the ball a lot quicker. That cross went right away across the face of the goal. Terry says they've got to be better than that to beat Leno. Indeed, yeah, we've got to be much better than that to beat Bernd Leno. You're not going to get it past him that easily. But that was a bit better from Arsenal, though. Nice quick passing. It was Saka that got the ball on his near side, drilled it across that 6-yard box. But in the end, the cross came to nothing. It was Trossard couldn't get on the end of it at a near post, and then is it Kai Havertz just behind him, couldn't get on the end of it either. But that was a bit better from Arsenal. At least we got him behind that Fulham defence on that particular occasion. And yeah, just unable to really get that final touch. We've played 18 minutes though. Terry says Havertz was fast. I said, well, he didn't react, did he? He didn't react quickly enough to get on the end of it. But anyway, we have got a corner as a result of all of that, as we look to try to get ourselves level after that terrible start. Fulham scored inside the first minute. Andreas Pereira it was with the goal. We've got a corner now, opportunity to try to get ourselves level. We've got a lot of height in that box. Corner comes into the near post. Flicked on. It goes all the way through to Gabriel Martinelli. And the streams just froze. But Gabriel Martinelli's shot was blocked. And it looked like it was a free shot at goal, actually. He tried to do something spectacular. It was blocked. And it's a free kick now, is it? Raul Jimenez complaining that it wasn't a foul. In fact, it's going to be a yellow card for Raul Jimenez. Mark says our corners last week were terrible. They were, actually. That one was a bit better, though, wasn't it? It was flicked on at the near post. There's a yellow card. I think it's to Raul Jimenez for that foul there on Bukayo Saka, I think it was. But it was Martinelli. It took too long, really, didn't it? It was Raul Jimenez actually got the block in. It seemed to take a little bit too long there, really, didn't he, Martinelli, to get his shot away. And in the end, it was cleared away by Fulham. But at least that was a little bit better from Arsenal, really. That was a good move. And it was a better corner, but I agree, the corners the other night were terrible, weren't they? I'm going to try and find another stream because that one was terrible. Does anybody know a decent stream that's going on, a channel, an American channel that might be working? Let's have a look. Has Peacock Sports got anything that might be the Arsenal game? I don't think they did earlier, did they? So probably not. If anybody knows of a channel, and that's got the Man United game on that one. Unfortunately, my thing doesn't actually tell me what programs are on because my Fire Stick's a bit old, I'm afraid. But anyway, we'll be fine. I'll find something, I'm sure. Everton Wolves on that channel. You'd imagine one of these is going to be the Arsenal game, wouldn't you? They've got 3 or 4 Premier League games on. What was on 5? Peacock 5. Let's have a look. Oh, that's gymnastics. That's no good, is it? We don't watch gymnastics, do we? Terry says USA. Is that? I don't know if that's a channel. Is it? Is it USA the channel? I'm not sure if it is actually. Be one of these little sport channels, won't it? I don't know if BN Sports has got it. They've often got Premier League games, haven't they? BN Sports. Oh, that's Man United. We don't want to watch that, do we? Absolutely not. We do not want to watch that. I don't know what this is here. Truck racing. Truck racing. What do we want to see truck racing for? We don't do it. Let's have a look at this one here then. See if we can find another stream because that one before was actually terrible. No, it doesn't look like they've got it on. 11 Sports. What have they got? I don't know. USA 11 Sports. What's that? Is that the one? Probably won't be with it. It'll be USA Sport, I would imagine. It's actually running athletics. I don't mind athletics, but not when I'm trying to find an Arsenal game. ESPN Plus might have it on. They do a lot of the Premier League, don't they? Let's have a look. Let's just have a quick look for ESPN Plus. I don't know if anybody's got any actual channel numbers that might work. Not really sure. So it's crazy, isn't it? Really, you got 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League in England, and they can't really show the games in, so you've got to find a foreign channel to watch it on. It's just crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Anyway, no, there's nothing on there. What do we think? Now Sports. What's on Now Sports? Let's have a look and see what's on there. I did have a stream. I'll go back to it, but it's not. It wasn't very good. That was all. I just kept buffering and doing the editing. And it's not me internet because I've just got new internet. I had Sky Internet before, and it's absolutely crap. I've got rid of that now, and we've got it on fibre with Vodafone. It's much better, but doesn't help when the stream not very good, is it? I don't think Now Sports got any. Got some tennis on. That's no good, is it? Let's have a look. US Sports, is that the one? BN Sports US, was it that one? No. No, it's not on there. It's got US Soccer. Oh, that's MLS. That's no good, is it? We don't watch MLS, do we? I'll go back to one I had before. I'm going to go back to that. Even though it wasn't very good. I will go back to it because it's better than nothing, isn't it? Let's have a look. What's this here? It just says Premier League. So let's see what Premier League game it might be. Let's hope it's our one. Actually, it's got some streams here from Friday night Chelsea against Luton. So let's see if one of them maybe works. Oh no, that's Sky Sports News. That's no good, is it? It says Arsenal v Fulham here, but there was nothing on there before. Oh, it's working now. Right, okay. We're back with you. We've got our stream again, and it's just showing a Fulham attack by the look of it. Coming forward, it was Harry Wilson there, and he tried a shot from distance. Actually, he went just wide there. Harry Wilson, wow. And it looks like it is a corner to Fulham? Is it? We played 26 minutes. That's a goal kick. Actually, we played 26 minutes at the Emirates. Terry says we've capitulated. Well, it's still only 1-0, so it's not the end of the world, is it? That's a big word for me. That is a big word for you. Yeah, I like it. It's not. I wouldn't say it's necessarily true at the moment, but anyway, we've played 26 minutes. It is Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. That very, very early goal from Andreas Pereira is that separates the sides, and Arsenal have got to try and find a way out of this mess. But we've done it before, haven't we? Especially at the Emirates. There was a few times last season where we were in similar situations and we came out of it, didn't we, with results. Saka's having a really poor game, actually. I've got to be honest. I mean, we all love Bukayo Saka, but it was his mistake very early on. He doesn't seem to recover from that. He's been poor. But we have got the ball now out to that far side. Gabriel Martinelli plays it up that far side. Jacob Kiwior gets it back again. Martinelli. Saka's now over on that far side, the left, but the ball didn't quite reach him. Fulham have cleared it away. They're defending their lines very well, Fulham, actually. Steve says there, last year, maybe a one-off. Haven't seen anything enforcement. No, you're right. I think last season was a one-off. I agree with that. I said that at the time. I felt it was a one-off. You just got that feeling with it. And obviously, you know, the recruitment this summer hasn't really been what we've needed. You feel as though the squad's maybe weaker in certain areas. And Kai Havertz has just conceded an unfortunate free kick right over on that far side. Terry says we could have been 4-0 down. Fulham have been unlucky. Okay, well, I missed all that, so I'll take your word for it. I'm sure they'll show some highlights at half time, but we've only really had that one chance, haven't we? The shot from who was it? The shot was it Martinelli, wasn't it? They had the shot that Bernd Leno saved, and we've played 28 minutes. It says Fulham have had 6 shots. We've only had 4. So yeah, maybe you're right, Terry. Maybe we have capitulated. Anyway, Decordova Reed with the ball there plays it in to Harry Wilson. To the goal scorer Pereira. Fulham coming forward again now over on this far side. It is Harry. It's Harry Wilson with a cross into the near post, looking for the run there of Andreas Pereira, the goal scorer. Him and Harry Wilson both got bleach blonde hair, so I'm getting them confused when they've got the ball. Anyway, Fulham back in possession again. This is Anthony Robinson, plays it forward to Raul Jimenez, picks the ball up, lays it off to Bassi, plays it square to Diop, the French defender. And Fulham in possession. It's a good spell for Fulham, actually. It's a good ball up the line as well. This is nice play from Fulham. Harry Wilson plays that ball up this near side. This is good from Fulham, actually. Decordova Reed it is in possession there. That's not a great ball, though, and Arsenal tries to win it back on the edge of the box, but not very successfully there. It was Declan Rice, actually, but Arsenal do pick up the ball now with Kai Havertz, and he just lays it off to Thomas Partey. Coming up to the half-hour mark at the Emirates, Arsenal 0, Fulham 1, and it hasn't been a very good opening half an hour this for Arsenal, has it, overall? A little bit disjointed, little bit too lackadaisical at times, some poor passing, a few bad mistakes, and we've not been anywhere near clinical enough or moving the ball quick enough in that final third, not often enough. We've done it once or twice and had a couple of little opportunities, but we've not done it enough, have we? Certainly, you know, when you're 1-0 down, you want to see a little bit more of this, don't we, really? And at the moment, it's not really happening for Arsenal, is it, in this game? But there is still plenty of time. There's been goals, actually, in the Premier League already. Brentford are beating Crystal Palace 1-0. It's Sade there, not the singer Sade. And it's, well, Nottingham Forest are winning 2-1 at Manchester United. They were 2-0 up in 4 minutes, Nottingham Forest. Goals from Awomni and Bolly. Ericsson's pulled one back. So they've got problems as well at home, Manchester United today. Anyway, Trossard with that cross in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Header comes in from Saka. Close range header, difficult opportunity it was. It's bounced over the top there. And I say, Saka hasn't had his greatest game, has he, really? It was a little bit unfortunate on this particular occasion. It was a good ball It was a nice ball actually played over to that far side to Trossard. Martinelli is that's moved into the centre forward position. It was Martinelli trying to come in. Saka it was came around the back, but he was always stooping for that header. Maybe wasn't quite expecting it, and he's headed it down, which is probably the best thing to do, but it's gone down, bounced up on to the roof of the net. And it's Fulham now coming forward themselves in midfield. Steve says they're playing like flat batteries. Yeah, a little bit like flat batteries. Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? Mark C says that Saka's left his shooting boots at home. Well, perhaps he has. I think he's left his football boots at home because he doesn't seem to be playing particularly well at all. He's made a lot of mistakes in this game, but I still expect him to score the winning goal at some point. Anyway, Saka's actually won the ball back well on this near side on that particular occasion. Kai Havertz plays it square to Declan Rice on the edge of the box. Now it's Trossard, and Trossard get a shot away. He thought about a shot. Instead, he's played it into Martinelli going around the outside. Martinelli shot at the near post. Good save from Bernd Leno down low at that near post. And it's another opportunity for Arsenal. Good play that was on the edge of the box this time. It was nice that we got the ball moved quickly. Trossard it was, found Martinelli. He went round Tete, shot at the near post. Good reactions actually there from Bernd Leno. Obviously, you're a top goalkeeper. Won't want to get beaten at your near post. That was just going in, but that's a good save actually by the former Arsenal goalkeeper. And it is a corner though over on that far side to Arsenal looking to get level before half time. Trossard is with that corner headed away by Anthony Robertson. Comes back out to Trossard over on that far side. Him and Harry Wilson with the bleach blonde hair trying to tackle each other there. Clash of the blondes. Anyway, Saka now on his near side. Got a little bit of space. Can he get across and he goes it onto his left foot? That's a decent ball to the far post. Can Trossard come in on it? He can't. I think it was Tete, the defender there. Just got a touch. Kai Havertz was coming in as well. Decent ball that was over from Saka. That was much better from him. Good cross towards the far post. It was a decent ball there and Havertz couldn't get it. In fact, I think it came off the defender as Trossard was coming in as well. And it is going to be is it a goal kick to Fulham? It is a goal kick to Fulham. And Leno goes long, deep into the Arsenal half. It's flicked on. And Fulham coming forward again with Harry Wilson over on that far side. Former Bournemouth player, of course, Harry Wilson. But I think he played for Bournemouth the same time that Callum Wilson played, didn't he? There are two Wilsons in their team. Anyway, Aaron Ramsdale now with the ball at his feet, plays it short to Ben White. Brings it forward, Ben White. And needs a little bit of support maybe. And he plays a long ball over the top, but there's no Arsenal player there. And Bernd Leno's got plenty of time. But he didn't have as much time as he thought. He was suddenly putting a bit of pressure there. And it's been hooked at play over on that far side for a throw to Arsenal. 33.5 minutes played. Kirior's going to take this throw, is he? Jacob Kirior throws it down to William Saliba. Finds Thomas Partey. Just touches it off there to Ben White. And he goes back to Aaron Ramsdale. Mark C says there he should have scored twice there already. Yeah, he's had a couple of opportunities. Steve says there. There's the one that went in. They're the ones that went in last season. Yeah, maybe they did go in last season when things were going our way. Not so much at the start of this season, but we've won 2 out of 2 so far. So let's not get too negative about it yet. But obviously, if we don't win against Fulham at home, that's the time to start maybe question a few things, isn't it? Because this is a game we should be winning. Any team that's serious beats Fulham at home, don't they? And so far, we haven't been able to really put them under enough pressure. Martinelli now coming forward over on that far side. He's had a lot of the ball, Martinelli, in this first half, hasn't he? Without really always doing that much with it. Declan Rice now, a little bit of time, plays it square to Thomas Partey in the centre. Now it's up this near side to Bukayo Saka. He's got Ben White steaming outside him. Ben White's cut inside. But Saka didn't find him, but Saka keeps the ball, plays it square to Martin Odegaard. He's going to try a shot, but Declan Rice is going to try a shot. No, he goes square instead to Jacob Kirior, and then Martinelli's ball again's a poor one, and it's run all the way through to Bernd Leno, who's gone long up the pitch looking for Raul Jimenez, but Thomas Partey's underneath that. Almost a bad ball there, almost let in. Andreas Pereira again, who scored that very early goal for Fulham. But it's Arsenal now in possession. Don't forget, if you're enjoying this show, please give us a like. Why not consider subscribing to the channel as well if you're enjoying what we do? We're going to have some great stuff coming up for you this season. Some very special shows we've got lined up coming soon as well. Anyway, Arsenal now in possession with William Saliba inside at the centre circle. Plays out to the far side. Leandro Trossard, who's gone more over to that left-hand side now, hasn't he? A bit deeper, Trossard. He started as a false nine, really, didn't he? But he's kind of dropped a lot deeper anyway. Ben White now on this near side. Bukayo Saka makes a little bit of movement for him, but instead he goes back to Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey now looking for a pass up this near side as he instead goes square back into the middle. Gets it back again. William Saliba now. It's with Jacob Kiwior at that far side. Finds Martinelli again. Plays it infield to Declan Rice. And Arsenal have dominated the possession in this first half, but I say not really creating too many opportunities, have we? Not really. We're coming forward now to Kai Havertz. Lays the ball off to Thomas Partey. Dinks the ball over the top, looking for the run of Saka. Saka feels he was pushed over there by Anthony Robinson. The referee says no. And the ball's run through to Bernd Leno. And another Arsenal attack has come to nothing as we come down towards the last 8 or 9 minutes of this first half. Not ideal, but anyway, there is still plenty of time. And that's the main thing. But we're not playing well enough, are we, at the moment, to really justify getting back into the game. Anyway, Arsenal are coming forward now on that far side. Kiwior finds Martinelli. Is this going to be the moment for Arsenal? Martinelli twisting and turning, plays the ball back again to Declan Rice. Declan Rice lays it off to Thomas Partey. Just plays it square. Rice now finds Bukayo Saka on this near side, just inside the Fulham penalty area. Just going to be the moment. Plays it into Martin Ødegaard. Can't get a shot away. Fulham are defending very well, you have to say. Saka, though, plays it square to Declan Rice. Is he going to try a shot from distance? No, he's not. Plays it out to Kiwior over on that far side. Kiwior gives it back to Rice. It's a nice ball into Martinelli. Lovely to Trossard inside the box. Couldn't quite get it under control. And again, Fulham deal with it. But anyway, let's see what happens here, because we're coming forward again with Kai Havertz over on that far side. Cross comes in. Rice now. Arsenal putting the pressure on, but Fulham got everyone behind the ball. They're working so hard, aren't they? Out of possession. Fulham. Ødegaard tipped the ball in towards Bukayo Saka inside the box. Again, though, Fulham force Arsenal backwards. Thomas Partey dinks the ball in. That's a decent ball. Couldn't quite reach Trossard. Again, it was good defending by Fulham. And Bassi it is, clears it away. And Ben White then plays it back to Aaron Ramsdale. Mark C says there, dare I say, it looks like we should probably have started with Eddie. No, let's not go down that route quite yet. Anyway, Saka now is coming forward. Plays the ball square to Thomas Partey. Arsenal having the ball in front of that Fulham defence, going side to side without ever really being able to get in behind or create an opportunity. Martinelli now on that far side, plays it into Kai Havertz. That's a poor ball from Havertz, actually, but Martinelli does manage to keep it in. And Arsenal do manage to keep possession. William Saliba plays it square to Ben White. Plays it into Martin Ødegaard. Turns away from one that challenged. Martin Ødegaard plays up the line to Bukayo Saka. Fulham are looking fairly comfortable, you have to say. Anyway, that ball pinged that to that far side, looking for Martinelli again. Good defensive header that was from Tete, but now Tete's down and Martinelli's got a bit of space just inside the penalty area. Martinelli plays it back to Trossard again. It wasn't the right ball from Martinelli. He's done that too many times in this first half. And again, another Arsenal attack comes to nothing. Ben White in possession, plays it square over that far side to Jacob Kiwior, plays it up the line to Martinelli again. Is his ball going to be better this time? Running at Tete. Martinelli plays it back again to Trossard. Declan Rice into Martinelli, shot on a turn. Again, though, it's straight at Bernd Leno. We're into the last 5 minutes of this first half. It is still Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. Mark C says we're overcooking it a little bit, but then it's difficult, isn't it? Because Fulham have got everyone behind the ball, and it's difficult for us, isn't it? But I do feel a little bit as though we're being slightly predictable in the way that we're playing. and we're making it easier for Fulham to defend against it than maybe it should be. Anyway, there's a little bit of space here over on that far side for Kai Havertz. Is this going to be the moment? Pulls it back to Martin Odegaard. A shot to Martin Odegaard, scored, and Arsenal have got the goal. It's 1-1, or is it? The linesman's got his flag up. Not sure if this is going to count. I think it was over on that far side. I think it's Kai Havertz that's offside, if indeed he is. Let's have a look if it was Kai Havertz that strolled offside. Yeah, he is offside. You can see the replay there. He was offside, Kai Havertz. Not sure if the ball was meant for Trossard. Anyway, the goal's been ruled out. It was a good finish from Martin Odegaard, actually, from the edge of the 6-yard box into the far corner. But yeah, Kai Havertz was offside. It's the first time really that we'd got him behind. And, you know, it was unfortunate there, wasn't it? Nathan says they're annoying. Lovely finish. It was a lovely finish, yeah. And it was a good move, but you know, it's the first time he looked, and we've got him behind the fullbacks at Fulham, and he did look as though he may have gone a little bit early, and obviously the replay showed that he had. So yeah. But anyway, we're into the last 3 minutes now of the first half at the Emirates. It is still Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. Not the first half that we were anticipating, is it? We all thought it was going to be a nice win for Arsenal. I mean, it still may be, but we're certainly going to have to do it the hard way. Saka now on this near side, trying to wriggle in some space, does well that time, finds Trossard. Trossard just lays it off to Thomas Partey. Are Arsenal going to find this equaliser before half-time? It's into Trossard again. Again, though, Fulham have defended really well. You have to give them credit for the way that they've defended. But we've not done enough, have we, to get ourselves back in this game? Arteta is outside the technical area. I thought they were clamping down on all of that, but obviously Arteta can get away with it, can't he? Because he's Arteta. He's allowed to. Terry says it's like Saka is missing Ben White bombing down the right, and that was one of the best partnerships last season. Yeah, no, it was. You're right. Anyway, the referee is just having a word there with Calvin Bassey. Not quite sure what that was about, but anyway, Thomas Partey plays it in to Trossard, lays it off. We're into the last couple of minutes of this first half. It's been a tricky first half for Arsenal, hasn't it? Now it's with Saka on this near side. Can he keep it in? Again, a poor touch from Saka. Anthony Robertson clears it away. It's been the worst game Saka's had for a very, very long time, isn't it? Anyway, Ben White now in possession for Arsenal. Just over halfway, finds Saka again. Saka running at that front defence. That's a better ball. Martin Odegaard's going to try a shot from distance this time, but again, it's too comfortable for Bernd Leno. You're not going to beat a goalkeeper of Bernd Leno's quality with an effort like that, unfortunately. But at least he tried a shot from distance, but it was pretty much straight at the goalkeeper. Trying to cut through it, Martin Odegaard there, but comfortable save by Leno. And we're into the last minute now of the first half. There's going to be a little bit of stoppage time, maybe. I wouldn't say there'll be an awful lot. Diop then plays the ball up that far side, but it's going to run out of play, is it? Or can Tete keep it in? No, he can't. It's going to be a goal kick to Arsenal as we come down towards the last few seconds of this first half. A very, very difficult first half it's been for Arsenal, hasn't it? Not enough quality in our play at all. Anyway, let's see this. So we've still got enough time to turn this around. Just it doesn't look like it's going to be happening quite yet, does it? Anyway, Saka now on this near side. Is he going to end the half well? He didn't start it particularly well, did he? Terry says there, you don't beat Leno from there. Indeed, you don't. Saka again now on this near side, looking to create something in the final few seconds of this first half. Anthony Robertson has taken the ball off him, but Saka has got it back. Saka inside the box. This is going to be the moment. Saka tries to go around the outside. It was a good block there by the defender, João Paulina, and it is going to be a corner to Arsenal as we've gone into stoppage time at the end of this first half. As the rain pours now in North London. But Arsenal have got a corner. It's going to be 2 minutes of stoppage time. We've just moved into that now. And there's a corner on this near side to Arsenal. Steve said, I want to see Arteta plan B after the break. Well, has he got a plan B? He's barely got a plan A most of the time. But anyway, Mark C says, does Saka need a rest? Well, potentially, I agree. Maybe he does. But anyway, I don't know if it's just because, I mean, everybody has a poor game every now and again. And maybe just that early pass has just got into his head a little bit. And he's been nowhere near his normal self, has he? Steve says, Arsenal scared of water. Well, I don't know if we're scared of water, but we're certainly not playing very well since it started raining. It is absolutely chucking it down, actually. And Mario Silva's out there. He doesn't care, does he? He hasn't even got a jacket on. Just out there getting soaked. He's not bothered, is he? He'll be happy enough with the way this first half has gone for his team. They've defended really well, got the early goal, and really we've struggled to... we've barely looked like getting back into it, although there was that goal that was disallowed, of course, for offside against Kai Havertz in the VAR. For that, it was a pretty obvious decision. Phil says they need to rocket out their backsides at half time. Yeah, well, they do. I don't think the shape of the team works. I think that's the problem. I don't think necessarily the players' fault. I just think that I don't know. I don't think the shape of the team is right. And Fulham have exploited that well, and I think we're too predictable when we're attacking as well. Martin got a little bit of space now, try to thread the ball through against it. That's a really poor ball. Arsenal just off their game completely. Saka picked up that loose ball there. Saka now trying to find some space, and there goes a half-time whistle. A very poor first half over that was from Arsenal. Mark C says at least we've got plenty of good options on the bench. Well, we have, but is Arteta going to use them? Is he going to use them right? Anyway, Andres Pereira's in conversation there with the referee. Not quite sure what that's all about. But anyway, the upshot of it all is that at half-time here at the Emirates, it is Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. That goal from Andreas Pereira after just 1 minute has given Fulham the advantage. And to be fair, Arsenal really, really struggled to create too many opportunities. Lots of the ball, yes, of course, we're always going to have lots of the ball. We're Arsenal and we're at home, but we've done very, very little with it so far, really. We've had 1 or 2 opportunities, some shots straight at Bernd Leno. We did score. Martin Odegaard put the ball in the net, but it was offside against Kai Havertz in the build-up. And quite honestly, Arsenal have got to do a lot more and a lot better in this second half if we're going to find a way back into this game. But at half-time, it is Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. Very, very disappointing. Let's have a look at the other half-time scores for you as well. So it is Bournemouth 1, Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0, Wolves 0, and Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. They were 2-0 down in 8 minutes, Man United, but they pulled one back, and maybe they might find a way to get something from that game in the second half. And of course, later on, it's Brighton against West Ham, isn't it? But the big news is Arsenal are losing here at half-time. Liam said, I agree with you about the shape of the team. Yeah, it just looks wrong. It's looked wrong all season. We've got away with it in the first 2 games, so he's kept with it. But anyway, Terry says, let's hope at half-time we hear Arteta has his P45. He's not going to go at half-time, is he? And even if we lose this game, he won't go, will he? But anyway, something needs to change in the second half, doesn't it? Whether it's personnel, whether it's shape of the team, whether it's... I don't really know. Something's got to change because that first half was just not good enough. Just not good enough at all. And Fulham, people might say, well, Arsenal had a lot of possession, but I think Fulham deserve to be in front because they've defended so well and they've looked dangerous on the counter-attack and they've had 1 or 2 opportunities as well, haven't they, to increase their lead. But it is still 1-0 and we'll keep that for time. But Steve says, bring on Harry Houdini Nelson. Yeah, well, he's got us out of trouble a few times, hasn't he? Steve says, it's raining, bring on fresh legs after half-time. Anyone? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll see substitution. They're quite late in the game that Arteta makes them generally, but we'll see. We'll see what happens at half-time. Something's got to change, whether it is the personnel or whether it's... I would change the shape of the team, actually, and go back to what we're good at. Maybe get Gabriel on, put Partey back into midfield, take Havertz off, and then go back to what we know best. That's what I would do. But I'm not Arteta, and I'm sure he's got a plan, even though no one else can really understand what that plan is. But anyway, right, it is half-time. It is Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. That wasn't a lot of fun, was it, to be honest? But anyway, things can only get better from here. That's the way to look at it, isn't it? And Yeah, that's sort of where we are at the minute. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea, which I think is well needed after that first half. And we'll be back for more of, hopefully, some more Arsenal goals in the second half, some better performances. But let's not hold our breath. Stay tuned, because I'll be back very soon for the second half. But at half time, it is Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. And yes, not really what we were expecting. Right, so we're back for the second half, which hopefully is going to be quite a lot better than that first half, which was quite poor, wasn't it? We've had some comments coming out at half time. Rajendra says, Terry wants us like Spurs, changing manager every 6 months and never winning. Well, you don't need to change manager every 6 months if you get the right appointment in the first place, do you, I suppose? But Terry says, knowing Arteta, the only change he will make is everyone will come out with a brolly. Like Steve McLaren brolly. Steve said, I wouldn't be surprised. Better do something very flat, low energy, like Everton game last season. I mean, the Everton game away. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was very similar to that. Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? Terry says, with half decent manager and the players we have, we should be blowing teams like Fulham out of the park. 3 games in, and we haven't won one convincingly. No, we haven't won one game convincingly yet. You're right. Not that particularly matters if you're winning, because you still get 3 points whether you win 5-0 or you win 1-0. Doesn't make any difference ultimately. But but even when City sometimes struggle in the first half of the season to find their rhythm, they'll still have the odd game where they win 5-0, won't they? We don't look anywhere near like that at the moment. Steve says, way things are going, Spurs looking good. No, Spurs are looking good at the moment, you've got to say. They've 7 points out of 9, they've played well. But, we need to focus on our own team at the minute, don't we? And hopefully we'll produce something a bit better than we have done in that first half. But I sort of agree with you, Terry, the fact that, with the team that we've got, the amount of money that we spent on these players, we should be playing a lot better than we are, first of all. And we should be winning trophies now. There's no more excuses, is there? I think we've too many people, too many Arsenal fans in particular, have been making excuses for this manager and what's been going on. So, he needs time, it's a process and all this kind of stuff, right? And, all of that really is just waffle, isn't it? Football's about results. At the end of the day, that's it. And if we're a big club, if we want to behave like a big club, what we've got to do is we've got to start acting like a big club. And that is, if we're not winning trophies, and with the money that we spent, we've got to make a change. And yes, you could say, well, we've spent all the last 3 or 4 years building this project for Arteta, and it's like throwing it in the bin and starting again. But if it's not going to work, that's the only option, isn't it? The only option is to throw it in the bin and start again with somebody else. It doesn't need to take this long, does it? When you think about it, right? And I'll always go back to the same point. When Eddie Howe took over at Newcastle, they were bottom of the league, and within 18 months, he's got them into the top 4, spending less money than what Arteta has, because he's done it in a shorter period of time. And Mikel Arteta has had 3 seasons to get us in the Champions League. He failed. And he finally did it last season. And now we've got to build on that. And we haven't done. We're not doing, are we? And it's frustrating, because I agree with, I think, was it Steve that said earlier about last season was a one-off. I believe it was a one-off. It wasn't even a whole season, was it? It was the first 19 games. The second 19 games, we were just average. The results were average in those second 19 games. And that's sort of where we are looking at the moment, isn't it? We're looking back to that kind of form. Yes, we won a few games, but we didn't look great. And that seems to be where we are with it at the minute. Steve says there, who would you want if no Arteta? Well, I mean, we're Arsenal. We can get whoever we want, any manager in the world that we want. Probably apart from Pep and Klopp at this moment in time. I think with this group of players that we've got, managers will be falling over themselves to come at Arsenal. Let the club decide who to get. There's loads of managers that are better than Arteta. Let's be honest. Let's not make out Arteta as this mythical manager that no one is better than. I mean, that's clearly not true, is it? There's loads and loads of managers better than him. So let's just get anybody really and see how it goes. Regina says here, which big club has done the same over the last 3 years? What do you mean has done? Which big club has done the same? The same as what? The same as us and failed? None. All the other big clubs have been successful, haven't they, in the last 3 years, and we haven't. So no other big club has done what we've done in the last 3 years. They've all won trophies, haven't they? They've all won. They've all won stuff. Liverpool, Manchester City. Well, apart from Tottenham, but Tottenham won on a big club, and so they never win anything anyway. Man United have won stuff. So this is what's happened. Chelsea have won things. This is what I'm saying. That it's been a disaster, really. So he says if we play like we're winning nothing, 700 million, we've gone backwards. Well, I mean, we certainly haven't progressed, have we? We haven't. And people will say, well, we've gone from 8th to 5th to 2nd, but that's like saying, well, Arteta failed to get us down to 8th in the first place, and then he's got us back to where we kind of were, which is back in the Champions League, and that's where we were. Actually, he's made a substitution because Eddie Nketiah is coming on. Eddie's going to save us, guys. Eddie Nketiah is going to save us. Hang on, I saw Eddie Nketiah there. He is, Eddie Nketiah's in the tunnel there. Eddie Nketiah's coming on. He's going to save us. He's going to score a hat-trick in the second half. Regina says Eddie Howe's not won anything yet. No, he hasn't won anything yet. You're absolutely right. But they were second. They were bottom of the league when he took over, and he's got them in the Champions League in 18 months. And the trophies will, and to a cup final as well. We got a League Cup final last year. The trophies will come. He's done a much better job than Arteta. And in fact, obviously, I live in Newcastle. I know a lot of Newcastle fans. They wouldn't swap Eddie Howe for Mikel Arteta, and I actually don't blame them because nobody would. Nathan says you're right, especially when you factor in the spending. So exactly, yeah. Look at this is the point, isn't it? You can't go out spending the money that we've been spending over the last 3 years and not win anything. You can't do it. You just can't. If you don't, whether he'll last even a season, but if we don't win something this season with this money that we've spent, then serious questions have got to be asked. Regina says Man U and Chelsea have not won the league over the period. No, they haven't won the league. No, that's because Manchester City have won the league. We're not just the league, is it? Man United have won the League Cup. Chelsea have won the Champions League, for example, in recent years, haven't they? And we've not won anything. Anyway, Eddie's coming on, and I didn't see who'd gone off, actually. It's not Martinelli, it's not Saka. Is it Trossard? Has he actually given Trossard 45 minutes? If Trossard's gone off, I would almost sack him now. Rajendra says Eddie did not have the COVID problems. What COVID problems? There wasn't any COVID problems, was it? Football still got played. You know what I mean? That's just an excuse. Terry says can't even say the Kroenkes haven't backed. No, exactly. Of course, the Kroenkes have backed him. He's been backed. So we won the FA Cup. He won the FA Cup with Unai Emery's team that Arteta took over, and the players that got him to win that competition, he got rid of. For whatever reason, and he's brought all these other players in because he wants to play this special system that other players can't adapt to. Well, the special system didn't work. It isn't working, is it? Because we're not winning anything. I'd rather go back to a normal system that players understand and can just easily fit in. And so you haven't got to rely on the same players every week because you can basically... He has took Trossard off, by the way. He took Trossard off at half-time. Even despite Saka and Martinelli were useless in that first half, and he's took Trossard off, giving him 45 minutes. Trossard won't be back in the team again for God knows how long. We're going to have to suffer Eddie, aren't we? Well, maybe not, because Jesus is on the bench now. But this is where we are. We spent 700 million, as Terry said, and we've got Eddie Nketiah as our centre forward. Eddie Nketiah. Unai Emery didn't work. No, Unai Emery didn't work, but Unai Emery wasn't given a backing. Imagine if Unai Emery had been given a backing, Arteta's been given. Who knows what would have happened? Anyway, Arsenal are coming forward now. Start of the second half, but that's another poor ball. And Bert Leno's there to clear up the danger, hits the ball long into the centre circle. Another Arsenal attack comes to nothing. But no, you're right, Unai Emery didn't work out. I'd like to have seen what we could have done if he was back properly, given the players he wanted, other than being given players that the people at the time dealing with the transfers could get backhanders from. He didn't want Pepe. He wanted Zaha. And I'm not saying that Zaha would have been the answer to our problems, but if you give a manager the players that he wants, then they're more likely to work, aren't they? Because they're the players that fit into his system. Phil says we came up empty this season. He has yet to go. What he's doing with these players, it's not working. No, it's not working. No, you're right. It isn't working, and we've got to. He's the manager, isn't he? He's got to make it work. And I would go back to what we were doing well last season, and that's not what we're doing now. Saka now on that far side, just inside the penalty. A lot of empty seats. I don't know if it's because of the weather or people are still queuing up to get an overpriced burger on a pint. I'm not really sure. But anyway, Arsenal are coming forward now. Saka trying to get clear again over on that far side inside the penalty area, trying to get past Robinson. He does get a shot in, but again, it's straight at Bert Leno. Every single shot in this game has been straight at Bert Leno. And he's a very good goalkeeper at the best of times. And you're going to have to do something a little bit better to beat him there. But it's good play from Saka that time. Twisting and turning and got the shot away, but straight at the goalkeeper. Oh, sorry, I didn't read your comment properly. He says we come up empty this season. He has to go. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the point, and I think as well. If he even lasts the season, if we keep playing as badly as we've started the season in terms of performances, and if we lose today, then will he even last the whole season? I'm not sure. Although the club have backed him so much, it's almost like they'll be reluctant to get rid of him regardless. He should have gone when we finished 8th that season, when we got knocked out of. We're out of Europe completely, blew the semi-final of the Europa League. He should have gone then. That's when he should have gone. And the fact he's still here now is a miracle, really. Anyway, Fulham now coming forward on the counter-attack. But it wasn't a good touch there, actually, from Paulinho. And Arsenal got the ball back. There's a lot of empty seats all around the ground, especially in the front sections. Obviously, it's raining and people maybe want to shelter. But why would you buy a ticket and just not want to watch the game because it's raining? Crazy. Anyway, Saka now twisting and turning inside the penalty, getting away from a couple of challenges, gets the ball into the box, but didn't get it. Fulham haven't really cleared it away. It's come back to Martin Ødegaard. Again, he's twisting and turning over on that far side. We're very, very predictable in what we're doing. Phil says, we stand to make United look good at this rate when we play them well. Yeah, we play them in a couple of weeks, aren't we? So we'll soon see what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm sure Man United will get it right in the end. They had a poor start last year, didn't they? And they stand up in the top 4 and with a trophy. Martin Ødegaard now over on that far side. Arsenal are looking a little bit more urgency in the second half, but still haven't really created anything. And Martin Ødegaard's cross has deflected behind, and it's come off the Arsenal captain. It's going to be a goal kick to Fulham. We've played nearly 5 minutes of the second half. And it is still Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. And Arteta's got a rain jacket on now. At least it means he can sit down on the bench. He's not going to want to stand out in the rain, is he? Ruin his lovely hair. Paul Tinney's now got a yellow card out. I think it's going to be for time wasting. The amount of time they've taken over this goal kick. I don't know if he actually got the yellow card. He had a yellow card in his hand, the referee. I don't know if he was threatening to get it out. Anyway, Arsenal have got possession again with William Saliba inside at the centre circle. And the ball's now gone back to goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Yeah, Bassi it was that got the yellow card there for time wasting over that goal kick. So he needs to be careful now, doesn't he? We've seen what a time-wasting yellow card can lead to. We saw ourselves on Monday night, didn't we? With poor old Tomiyasu, of course, was suspended for this game on the back of that, which is why Kyrgios coming over. I don't know whether Tomiyasu would have played anyway because he didn't play particularly well, did he? Anyway, Kyrgios now is in possession on this near side. Went to play the ball up the line, but changed his mind and has played it back in again. Arsenal getting themselves in a bit of a mess in midfield, but Declan Rice manages to tidy that up. And now William Saliba plays it forward to Havertz. That's a poor ball from Havertz. And now Arsenal have got some defending to do. Decordova-Reid it is over on that far side. Robinson steaming up ahead of him. Decordova-Reid goes alone, tries a shot. Oh, Ramsdale there. Did he get a touch on that, or has it gone behind for a goal kick? And that was a quick counter-attack there. Started with because Kai Havertz gave the ball away. Poor layoff that was. And then suddenly Fulham are on the counter-attack, and it was Decordova-Reid over on that far side. Cut in, got the shot away. I think it just went wide. It was a goal kick. Ramsdale was at full stretch, but it was never really going to go in. Now Saliba lays the ball off. Next with Declan Rice. Arsenal still inside their own half. Fulham starting to press a little bit higher up the pitch now. You do feel that if Fulham can get a second goal, then that's us done for, because you can't see us scoring twice. I know we've, or 3 times we'd need to win, wouldn't we? I know we've seen Arsenal do it a couple of times, but I don't know, we just don't look as though we've got it in us today with this performance, and the shape of the team's all wrong. Saliba clips a long ball forward looking for Eddie Nketiah. Does quite well. Eddie actually holds the ball up and does manage to find Gabriel Martinelli. Plays it in to Kai Havertz just inside the penalty. Martinelli again. That's a poor ball. In fact, he was offside. Kai Havertz. Maybe he would have been the better option to have been taken off instead of Trossard, but not to be. AD did quite well actually there, but Kai Havertz straight offside, and he was offside. There's no doubt about it. It was his offside that led to the disallowed goal in that first half. He was offside again there. Fulham now coming forward. Decord Overreed again over on that far side, but he doesn't get past Thomas Partey. He gets it back to Aaron Ramsdale. But that's a poor kick from Ramsdale. Gives the ball straight back to Paulinho, but Thomas Partey picks the ball up. And now Arsenal with Declan Rice driving forward, plays up this near side to Kiwior. Kiwior plays the ball forward, looking for the run there of Kai Havertz. Well cut out actually there from Diop. And Fulham have actually defended really well. You have to give them credit for that. Steve says even a draw looking hard. Well, it is at the moment because we can't find a way through this Fulham defence, can we? They've defended really well. And unfortunately, when you defend really well, it just takes a little bit of extra quality from Arsenal, and we just haven't shown it so far. But there is still plenty of time. As long as it stays at 1-0, we've got a chance, haven't we? And we've just won the ball again. Declan Rice, now that he's still inside his own half, though, plays the ball up his near side to Kiwior. And Kiwior plays it back again to William Saliba. Now it's square to Ben White. And now it's back with Aaron Ramsdale. Fulham, as I said at the start of the show, have never won a game away at Arsenal, whether it's at Highbury or at the Emirates. I say they were denied by a 97th minute equaliser by Eddie Nketiah, funnily enough, a couple of years ago. It's the nearest they've come. They did, of course, lead 1-0 last season for a long time as well before we got a late winner in that game. But Fulham are coming forward again. Harry Wilson there lays it off to Robinson over on that far side, bringing the ball forward now, finds Decord Overreed, puts a cross in, but it's easily headed away by Ben White. No Mitrovic, of course, for Fulham these days. Always a danger, wasn't he, from balls played into the box. But he's now gone, and they're playing Raul Jimenez, of course, up front, who's not really had an opportunity to score in this game. I'm sure that would help him bury that, bury the ghost of that horrible. Anyway, we're making some substitutions there. Two more. Fabio Vieira's coming on, and Zinchenko's coming on. Make of that what you will. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to come off. Thomas Partey's coming off. So he's binned off the idea of playing Thomas Partey as a right back. Still no Gabriel, though. Hal Havertz is coming off as well for Fabio Vieira. Why not just leave Trossard on? He's done this 10 minutes into the second half. Why not just leave Trossard on? So anyway, Fabio Vieira is now on. And Zinchenko as well. Straight away, Zinchenko drops into midfield. So whether that's where he's going to play, is it like a back three of Kiwior, Saliba and Ben White? Looks like it might well be. Anyway, Fabio Vieira picks up a little bit of space here. He gets on the ball for the first time, playing in that role that Havertz was just playing in. Will he be any more effective? Let's wait and see. He hasn't been in his Arsenal career so far, has he? And you worry about it, doesn't he? I mean, you know, we've got options on the bench, as we said, but do we have options that can change a game? We'll have to see. Anyway, Eddie Nketiah lays that ball off to Fabio Vieira. Is he going to change the game? That cross comes in, but it's well defended again by Fulham. That was Issa Diop. Heads that one behind. It's going to be a corner to Arsenal, which Martinelli's going to take from this near side. So Arteta's made 3 substitutions already. We've only played 10 minutes into the second half. Mark makes a good point there. It can't be any less effective. That is very true. It can't be any less effective. Anyway, let's see what this corner brings. Martinelli on this near side. 11 minutes played in the second half. Curled in towards the near post. Headed out again by Diop. Martin Odegaard tries to play it back to Martinelli. Just manages to keep it in, and has Zinchenko on halfway. Fit again at the Ukrainian. Terry says Havertz off, crybaby on 3 wasted subs. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They don't appear to be the best substitutions in the world, do they? But anyway, Zinchenko plays the ball up this near side to Martinelli. Martinelli running at that Fulham defence just inside the penalty area now. Gabriel Martinelli. Zinchenko's gone on the overlap. Zinchenko puts a low cross into the near post, but it's well defended again by Issa Diop. It's going to be a throw to Arsenal on this near side, which Zinchenko is going to take. Martinelli again plays it square to Declan Rice gets it out to Ben White on that far side. Now it's with Bukayo Saka. Declan Rice has made a run into the box. Instead it goes back to Martin Odegaard. Thought about a shot. Does think about a shot and get it straight to Bernd Leno. So either Bernd Leno today, either his positioning has been absolutely spot on because all the shots have been straight at him, or our shooting has just been terrible. Can't quite decide which one of those two it is. But anyway, Bernd Leno there made another comfortable save. 58 minutes played, and it is still Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. A lead that Fulham have had since the very, very first minute of this game. There's a foul there by Eddie Nketiah on Bassi. A little bit late there he was as Bassi cleared on Diop, I think it is actually. It was Eddie Nketiah with the foul. Marco Silva there is thinking that should have been a yellow card. It was a bit late there from Nketiah actually. I mean, you've seen yellow cards given for that, haven't you? You don't want to see a yellow card, but you've seen them given definitely for challenges like that. But anyway, it is going to be... See, that they'll book players for time wasting, but they won't book for a late foul like that. This is the craziest of the referees that we've got to part with. Anyway, Ramsdale's come and got that ball and rolls it out quickly. Looking for Martin Odegaard, who needs to lift his team, doesn't he? The captain. Lift us to greater heights in this game. That's a long ball forward by Kyrgios, who stayed on despite Zinchenko coming off the bench. Who's on the ball now? Zinchenko, he's just been tackled, and Fulham have won the ball. Play that long ball forward, looking for Jimenez. William Saliba ties up, goes back to Ramsdale. That's to head it out actually under pressure from Jimenez. Just about got away with that, Arsenal. And now Zinchenko, it was him that lost the ball that led to that counter-attack. Plays it forward, though, to Martin Odegaard. Finds Saka over on that far side. Bukayo Saka. So Ben White went around the outside of him. It come off a Fulham defender. It's a throw, which Ben White is going to take. We've got a slightly better defensive shape now with Thomas Partey coming off. Ben White going back over to that right-hand side. Let's see if it can bring a goal. Ben White again now getting forward over on that far side. Plays the ball into Martin Odegaard. Cuts inside. He's going to shoot with his left foot again. Is he? He does, but it's over the top of the crossbar. That was a poor effort there from the Arsenal captain. We played 60 minutes. It is still Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Sorry, Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. That got the scoring way around. Terry says he may as well take Martin Odegaard off and bring on Holding, the half-time orange boy. Holding's not even on the bench. But yeah, I don't quite know what's going on here. Anyway, Arteta's now got his rain jacket off. I think the rain stopped. Didn't want to mess his hair up, did he? So he sat on the bench when it was raining. Now it stopped raining. He's back out again, prowling that technical area. Arsenal looking for something different in this game because what we've been doing for an hour hasn't worked at all. And now Fulham have got an injury. It is the goal scorer, Andreas Pereira, who's gone down. So we'll see whether or not he's going to be able to continue. The Brazilian, it's his goal that still separates the sides. When the sun was out and it looked as though the sun was going to be shining on Arsenal today until that terrible pass from Bukayo Saka. And you have to say that as a good finish, actually. The more you see that goal, the more you see what a great finish it is. He's in it first time from, 30 yards. Obviously, Ramsdale wasn't in position because he was out of his goal. He seemed a little bit unsure what to do. And it was a very cool finish, you have to say. But anyway, it looks as though Pereira's day is done. He is limping off. And he's going to be replaced now, the goal scorer. And it's going to be Tom Cairney coming on, the Scotsman, who's actually the club captain. I don't know whether they'll give him the armband. Decordova Reid has been wearing it up until now. But I mean, it's still raining, actually. It's just it's not raining quite as heavily as it was. So Tom Cairney's on for Fulham. And he does get the armband back off Decordova Reid. We've played 62 and a half minutes. It's a goal kick to Fulham, which Bernd Leno is going to take. Terry says, perhaps we need to start losing to get things changed. We don't want to keep losing, do we? But you're right. I suppose that's the only way things will change. They won't change if we keep winning. Steve says, I'd be manager for free. I do better. Just find me a house to live. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of houses to live. They can find you. You can move into Arteta's house, can't you? When they sack him, he'll probably bugger off back to Spain, won't he? Or back to Manchester. So, yeah, you can move to his house, couldn't you? Zinchenko plays the ball forward up that far side to Martin Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard running at that Fulham defence. It's going over on that far side to Ben White. But again, Arsenal final ball has been poor. And it's Bassey coming forward. A very strong run this is from the defender, Calvin Bassey. The Nigerian's done really well, actually. Got high up the pitch, but now he's lost. Now they've lost the ball, he's going to have to get back. You know, Fabio Vieira now looks like a little kid sometimes, doesn't he? The way he runs, he's tiny, and he just looks like under 12. Anyway, Martinelli now on his near side plays the ball back to Zinchenko, and now it's in to William Saliba. Plays it forward to Martin Ødegaard. Nice turn from him. Threads it through to Eddie Nketiah. Is this going to be Eddie Nketiah's moment? Plays it right across the goal. Martinelli. Oh, he tried to find Fabio Vieira. Bit better that was for Arsenal, but no final input though there. It wasn't a bad play from Eddie, actually. He did well. Put a good cross in. It was a good run from him initially. And then he put a good ball in. No one was in the box waiting for it in here. Martinelli it was. Just pulled it back towards Fabio Vieira, but it was cleared away. Steve says, no matter what happens, they will not sack Arteta till the end of the season, if they even do. Well, you're probably right. Terry says, you can't move in my log cabin. You can move in my log cabin rent free. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of places Steve could stay. Martin Ødegaard there loses out in midfield and then concedes a free kick. It was Paulinho it was, who's done well, actually. Steve says, cool, done. Okay, we look forward to seeing you, Steve. You have to get us free tickets in the dugout as well. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So we can sit behind you and we can tell you that you're useless. Arsenal now back in possession with William Saliba finds Zinchenko inside the centre circle. Zinchenko tries to run between two Fulham defenders, does well, but he gives the ball away. And he's fouled, actually. It's a yellow card for Lukic. Of course, Lukic is a famous Arsenal name, isn't it? John Lukic, of course, goalkeeper. And it's Sasha Lukic. Plays in midfield. And it's a yellow card for the Serbian. Well, it was a bit of a late challenge there. Serbia and Ukraine there getting involved there. And it is a free kick to Arsenal. Terry says, only downside, weather's rubbish. Well, yeah, the weather's generally rubbish, yeah, but can't do anything about that, can we, unfortunately? Well, maybe we can. According to climate change, we can do stuff about the weather, but obviously we can't make it better, can we, by look at it? They don't want us to make it better. They want us to make it worse, which seems strange, doesn't it? Sunny weather is good for you, isn't it? Because it makes you feel better, vitamin D and all of that. And they're trying to stop us having it. Anyway, also coming forward now, Fabio Vieira. Oh, sure, that's a penalty. It is a penalty. Fabio Vieira has gone down. And Fulham have made their first mistake at the back. And we have got a penalty. It's Fabio Vieira just skipped clear down that left-hand side, got into the penalty area. And as he went past the defender, we won't even need to VAR check this. It's the most clearest penalty. It was Tete. It was late challenge there. That's the most blatant penalty you will ever see. He got past him, and you don't even need VAR. He's got his head in his hands. He knows it was a foul, and Arsenal have been gifted an opportunity now to get level. Of course, Martin Ødegaard scored the penalty, didn't he, at Crystal Palace the other night? Is he going to take it again? I mean, Saka's not had his best game, is he? So I don't suppose he's going to be feeling that confident. Fabio Vieira is now limping on the back of that change. Good play from Fabio Vieira, that was. Saka's got the ball in his hands, so maybe it's going to be Saka this time. Of course, we did think Saka was going to take it the other night, didn't we? But it didn't quite work out that way. I don't know what he's waiting for VAR for. It was the most blatant, clearest penalty you'll ever see in your life. He skipped past him, a late challenge, and it was a blatant penalty. We played 67 minutes, so we're midway through this second half, and Arsenal got the opportunity to get level. We haven't created too much ourselves. I don't know what's going on here, actually. We seem to be waiting and waiting. Bukayo Saka's got the ball in his hands, and I think Bukayo Saka's going to take this penalty, actually. Although he did have the ball, didn't he, at Crystal Palace, and then Martin Odegaard took it off him and decided to take it. But Martin Odegaard isn't going to be taking this one. He's moved away, and it's going to be Bukayo Saka with the responsibility. He did miss a big penalty at West Ham, didn't he, last season? Let's hope he can put this one, of course, against his former teammate, Bernd Leno. Of course, they would have probably practiced these in training, wouldn't they, all those years ago? Bernd Leno, I don't remember him saving a penalty for Arsenal. So will he be able to save one for Fulham today? It's a big moment in this game. Bukayo Saka against Bernd Leno from the penalty spot to make it 1-1. Can Bukayo Saka put this in? It's a big moment in this game. If he scores, I think we'll go on and win. In fact, they're saying the ball's not on the spot. It doesn't look on the spot, actually. It should be more on the spot, shouldn't it? Bernd Leno comes out. Saka puts it back again. This delay isn't going to help, is it? There's no doubt about that. And it's all got a little bit silly, but we're still waiting for this penalty now. Bukayo Saka against Bernd Leno is going to happen again, is it? And here we go this time. Saka against Leno to make it 1-1. Can Saka keep his nerve, or will Bernd Leno come back to the Emirates with a big save? This is a big moment in this game. Bukayo Saka take this penalty, he runs up, slots it in. Bernd Leno goes the wrong way, and Arsenal have scored. And it is 1-1. We were slightly gifted that goal, you have to say. It was a terrible challenge in the penalty area from Tete, but we'll take it. And Saka kept his cool there. Really good penalty, actually. Sent the keeper the wrong way. Fired it into that bottom right-hand corner. Nathan says there's Stonewall. Absolutely. Most clearest penalty you'll ever see. Terry says, Tom Daly or what? No, it definitely was a penalty. Terry says, get in there. John says, come on, B. Terry says, booking for time wasting. Steve says, let's not count our chickens yet. Well, we can start counting a few now. Anyway, they're making some changes for them now. Lukic has gone off following that yellow card, and Harrison Reed has come on, and Adama Traore is coming on, who we know how dangerous he can be. Powerful, quick. And he is now coming on, a muscular winger, former Wolves player, of course. Aston Villa he played for as well, didn't he? Always a danger. And in fact, it is Harry Wilson who's gone off. Didn't really have much impact in the second half, did he? And it's Adama Traore now who is come on for Fulham. Are they going to try and still win this game, Fulham? Because they're quite adventurous substitutions, really, aren't they? Considering they've just been pegged back to 1-1. Anyway, Fulham now looking to try and win the ball up this near side. It's gone out for a throw to Arsenal. Now you would expect Arsenal to go on and win this game from this point, wouldn't you, really? Arteta coming right out of his technical area to pick the ball up when it's almost in the Fulham technical area. Why does he do that? He needs to chill out, doesn't he, Arteta, honestly? Anyway, Zinchenko now gets the ball back to Kiwior. Now it's with Ramsdale inside the Arsenal penalty area. Probably a little bit of pressure there from Jimenez. Jimenez might feel he could get some better service now with Adama Traore on, because those two, I say, have got history together, haven't they? Linking up well at Wolves back in the day. Terry says, downside, Saka saved Arteta's butt again. Well, yeah, he has. Regeneron says, the Arsenal need to score 4 more now. Well, let's just get 1 more first. Let's not get too carried away. We've not played well enough to score another 4, have we? Anyway, Saka's in again. That was much better defending, though, from Fulham. And the defender there has gone down, actually, for Fulham inside the penalty area. The referee allows play to carry on. Arsenal now with their tails up. Fabio Vieira's cross. Oh, it's a goal! It's Eddie Nketiah's got it. Fulham had a defender down. They won't be very happy about that. And Arsenal have turned this around. 2 goals in 2 minutes. And there's going to be some controversy about this one. Fulham had a defender down in the penalty area. I think it was Bassi. The play carried on. The ball came across. Bassi's now getting treatment still on the pitch. And Eddie Nketiah has got another important goal against Fulham. He did a couple of years ago. This one from inside the 6-yard box. he got on the end of that cross, and Arsenal are in front now. Jota says 2-1. Indeed, it is. Let's have a look and see what happened here. Oh, I don't know whether that was a foul either way. You're not really sure anyway. Fulham didn't really get the ball away. And then it came back in over that far side. Eddie started that move. Fabio Vieira's cross wasn't actually that good. It didn't look that good anyway, but Eddie Nketiah got himself on the end of it. So Fabio Vieira's made a big impact. Mark says, Eddie Regenda says 3 more now. Well, now we might start thinking about scoring a few more goals. Now we've got ourselves in front. But Fulham will feel quite hard done by there, you have to say, where their defender was injured. Marco Silva's shaking his head, not happy at all. You can kind of understand why. If that had been given against us, we would be quite annoyed. In fact, Marco Silva's getting a yellow card from the referee as well. Joe says, what was that about Eddie at half time? Well, yeah, I know, but he's still not good enough, is he? He can score against Fulham all he likes, but you're not going to win the league with Eddie as your striker. I'm sorry, you're just not. Mark C says, positive impact by the well, positive impact by the subs, definitely, yeah, which is what you want. Phil says, please for Saka, it will help his confidence. Go Eddie. And Steve says, Arteta genius, only kidding. Well, yeah, the two of them subs have made a big impact. Vieira has got an assist and was brought down for the penalty, and Eddie scored the second goal. But you have to say, though, from a Fulham perspective, they will be really, really angry about that when their defender Bassey's injured. Would he have been there to have sorted it out? But Marco Silva's still going on. He's already been booked. He's probably going up getting a red card if he carries on. You can understand his frustration, though, can't you? You really can. And I say, if that goal was scored against Arsenal, we would be absolutely furious, wouldn't we, that one of our players was injured and the play was allowed to carry on. Yes, it's not a head injury, so you would imagine there's no reason to stop the game. But even so, you can understand why. In fact, their substitute goalkeeper that got a yellow card for Fulham. Anyway, Fulham are coming forward now. I don't know if this is going to fire them up a little bit more, because they'll certainly feel a little bit of injustice there. They defended well for 70 minutes. And now they've conceded 2 goals in 2 minutes, and they're now losing a game that they looked in control of. Anyway, Fulham are back in possession again over on that far side. We've played 75 minutes. It's going to be a big chunk of stoppage time, though, isn't there? Because obviously there was quite a lot of kerfuffle over the penalty, wasn't there? Decordova-Reid now attacking Ben White. Decordova-Reid gets a cross in. Gone behind. He's claiming a corner. The Jamaican, but I think it's going to be a goal kick. And we've got 15 minutes to play here at the Emirates. Arsenal have turned this game around. It is now Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. It's been a very, very strange game, hasn't it, in many ways? But Arsenal are now leading. And we're on the way now to 3 wins out of 3 at the start of the season, which 3 very unconvincing performances, you have to say. But anyway, we have got the job done so far. We'll see whether it works out like that. Phil said sometimes we should show a killer instinct. Yeah, maybe we need to a little bit more. Regenda says Saka made up for his earlier error. Yeah, I had a feeling he'd score today. I thought he might have got the winning goal, actually. But anyway, his penalty was really important. Took it well, didn't he, to bring Arsenal level. And now Arsenal are in front, and we look more likely to score some goals now. Phil says we're just blagging this game. So, and I agree. Yeah, we haven't been very good, have we? Let's be honest. Rajendra says Eddie has scored against you. No, it's not against my liking. I want him to score, but the only downside to that is the more goals that he scores in these sort of games against mediocre opposition, the more people think he's good enough, and he's not. And that's the problem that we've got, you know. But anyway, he's going to get more game time now, isn't he? I suppose. Although with Jesus fit, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, he's still not good enough, is he, for what we need? Where we want to be, which is at the top of the table, challenging for titles, playing in the Champions League. Eddie's not good enough for that. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I like Eddie. He's just not good enough as a striker. You're not going to win the league with Eddie Nketiah even as your backup striker. He's not good enough. And that's the way it is, even though he will score goals. that's not really the point, is it? He's not good enough for where we want to go. He'd be good enough if we were where we were 2 years ago, when we were looking at trying to get back into the sort of European places and stuff like that. But now we've moved up a level, and he's still Eddie, isn't he? And that's it, unfortunately. Regenda says he has shown to have improved. No, he hasn't improved. He's 24 years old. He should be now. He's younger than Haaland. Right, and I'm not trying to compare him to Haaland because they're totally different players. But if he hasn't got to his best level already, he's not going to now, is he? He's 24 years old. He's played for a long, long time, and he's still the same player he was 2 or 3 years ago. He's played more games, so he's got a little bit more experience, but he's still the same player. He's still the same Eddie, and he's still not good enough to be a top level striker, is he? He's not good enough, and that's unfortunately the way it is. And he's not going to improve much now, is he? He should be. These should be his peak years. That ball's played over the top. Oh, he's out of his box there. Took a risk, didn't he, Bert Leno? Did he handball that? His legs are outside the box. I don't know whether VAR are going to look at this. That was a very strange decision there. It looked like he was going to have to head it out, but he grabbed it. Anyway, I don't think the VAR, I've checked it. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe it was clearly inside the box. Anyway, Traore now on his near side hasn't really had much of the ball, has he? He'll fancy his chances against Zinchenko, though, but not with Kyriar, who was in there to put the ball out for a throw to Fulham. We're coming up towards the last 10 minutes. There'll be a big chunk of stoppage time in this game. There's no doubt about that, because there's been quite a few hold-ups in this second half. Of course, that injury there. Ball pulled in. He's going back into his pocket, and his yellow card's coming out, and he's going back over towards the bench. Is that for Arteta? Is it for what he's saying to the fourth official? He's such a baby, isn't he, Arteta, sometimes? Anyway, let's see. Terry says, I heard this stat the other day. Eddie has played 82 games and scored 16 goals. I'm not actually totally sure what his stats are. I will actually have a look at that. But he's certainly not scored anywhere near enough goals. And he's not good enough, that's why. Anyway, Fulham are coming forward now. They'll still fancy their chances of getting something from this game. We've still got more than 10 minutes to play. They're coming forward over on that far side. It's Tom Kearney, the captain. Now it's with João Paulinho, plays it forward on this near side. Diop tries to thread the ball through. Arsenal just about got that clear, and now we can maybe launch a counter-attack. Martin Odegaard plays the ball forward to Eddie Nketiah on this near side. He's got Martinelli in front of him. He finds Martinelli, but it wasn't a great ball. And Diop's across there to cover well. And that kind of sums up Eddie, really. He's not quite a good enough football player, is he? In the box, he knows where the goal is. Yes, of course he does. He ought to. He's a striker. That's his job. Anyway, Fulham coming forward again over on that far side with Decordova-Reid. He's got great hair, hasn't he? He plays it into Paulina, and he plays it square now to Diop. Adama Traore trying to get involved. We know how dangerous he can be. If he can get a cross in, then Jimenez will fancy his chances of getting a goal. Fulham coming forward over on that far side still. An opportunity for a cross for Robertson. It's not a bad cross either. Traore's there. Tried to jump above the Arsenal defender. I think it was Kyriar. And surely that's a foul there by Raul Jimenez. And in fact, it's not. It's a corner to Fulham. So Man United have turned it around against Nottingham Forest. They now lead 3-2 goal. Casemiro and a Bruno Fernandes penalty. And Forest have had a man sent off actually as well there. So it's all happening, isn't it? Brentford 1-1 with Crystal Palace. Anderson's equalised there for them. Anyway, Fulham have got a corner now. They're going to fancy their chances of getting a goal back. The corner comes in headed away. And now Arsenal got a chance of a counter-attack potentially here. William Saliba. Oh, he did a little bit too much there, really, didn't he? And in the end, Fulham managed to get the ball clear. Eddie Nketiah's stats, actually, just in the Premier League for Arsenal, he's played 91 games and scored 15 goals. And in total for Arsenal, he's played 134 games and scored 33 goals. So not a great goal scoring record, is it? Anyway, cross comes in. Yes, he doesn't start as many games, but even so, that's his record anyway. So there you go. And of course, he did score 5 in 19 for Leeds. And in fact, there's a yellow card. In fact, it's 2 yellow cards. It's a red card. And Fulham are down to 10 men. And again, it's a player who got booked for time wasting. Bassi gets a second yellow card for a foul. This one was a more blatant foul. And Fulham are down to 10 men. This game's gone away from them. Marco Silva doesn't look particularly impressed by what he's seeing, but Fulham are now down to 10 men. The time wasting yellow card, and that was a clear foul there by Bassi. You can't really have too many complaints. It's almost a red card on its own, let alone a second yellow. He wrestled Eddie Nketiah to the ground inside the centre circle, and he is off. And Martin Odegaard's going off now, and Eddie Nketiah's actually got the armband. I don't know whether it was a Declan Rice, but anyway, Martin Odegaard's going off and Jorginho's coming on. So rather than looking to kill the game off, now Fulham are down to 10 men, we've taken off a more attacking midfield player and brought on a more defensive midfield player because Arteta's scared. Even though Fulham have now got 10 men. Steve says there, would you take 1 goal every 2 games from Eddie? Well, 1 every 2 is a decent return, isn't it, for a striker? So, yeah, of course. But he's a long way off that, isn't he? Anyway, we've got this free kick inside the centre circle. Fulham are now down to 10 men. It is Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. Mark C says we're going to defend a 2-1 scoreline against 10-man Fulham at home. It does look that way, mate. It does. And that sums Arteta up. He's scared, isn't he? He's so scared. And this is why Arsenal will never win big trophies with this manager. And I don't know what it's going to take for people to realise that and understand it. John says disagree about being scared, more about ball retention for me, but I can understand. Yeah, I mean, it is maybe, but you know, Martin Odegaard keeps the ball well, doesn't he? Jorginho's a defensive player who's going to sit in front of the defence. Fulham have just got 10 men. For me, that's the time where you think, right, let's go for it now. Let's get 3 and 4 goals, rather than sitting back and being frightened not to concede a goal. Does that mean he doesn't trust his defence and his goalkeeper? I think that's the case. I think that's probably the case. And he's worried now that we're going to do something stupid in the last 5 minutes and concede a goal, even though Fulham have got 10 men. So, I don't know. He baffles me, Arteta. He just baffles me so much in what he does. I just do not understand what the thinking behind half his decisions that he makes. I just do not understand him. I'm sorry, I don't. We're home to Fulham. They're just down to 10 men. We're 2-1 up, and he brings on a defensive midfield player, takes off an attacking midfield player. Marsley says, "Here, put your side." Exactly, yeah. That's right. Something like that, yeah, do that. That's a much more better substitute. Or Gabriel Jesus, give him a run out for 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Against 10 men. Just crazy. I just don't get it. I just do not understand him at all. I don't think I'll ever understand Arteta. I never have done, and I never will. Bill says, "Yeah, coward." Exactly, that is a cowardly substitution, isn't it? Fulham have got 10 men, right? They've had to defend a lot of the game anyway, so they're going to be leggy, and they've got 10 men for the last 5 minutes plus stoppage time. Let's just kill them off. Let's kill them off. And we just made a mistake, and it was Zinchenko, and he's just fouled Traore. But actually, we play on Jimenez. Traore now is over there, and he's won a corner. Zinchenko is literally an awful player. Just get him off. If you're going to take someone off, take him off, because he's crap. Made a stupid mistake there. Could have cost us. In fact, if Fulham score and get a draw, Arteta gets what he deserves out of this game, quite honestly. We've got a corner to defend. We're into the 86th minute against 10-man Fulham. And Phil says there, should be going for the front. Of course we should be going for the front. And they have scored. There you go. Fulham have scored. And that absolutely sums it up. Get rid of this crap manager now. Get him out of this club. He's absolutely shit. Why on earth would you make a defensive substitution against 10 men when you're 2-1 up at home? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And they've just scored from a corner. It's João Paulinho. And you have to say, Arteta, you got what you deserve, mate. Absolutely get what you deserve. You useless piece of shit. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. That is disgraceful. Get this manager out of this club. 10-man Fulham and he went defensive. And we've just conceded a goal from a corner. What an absolute clown. What an absolute! It was Eddie Nketiah actually standing there. Look, moves out. Actually, it was Saka. Was it Saka? Yeah, Saka just stood there and watched him. He's had a terrible game, Saka, today. To be fair, that is just awful. That is awful. This is just disgraceful. Honestly, what on earth are you doing? You get the ball up the other end of the pitch. You don't invite pressure on yourself. They've got 10 men. Fair play to Fulham, actually, because their second goal was a bit dodgy anyway. But Jesus Christ. Anyway, Decordova-Reid's now going off for Fulham, and they can make the right substitution. You see, take an attacker off now, bring another defender. I'm sure that's what they'll be doing. And why not? They are, yeah, they bring another defender on. Brilliant. That's a great substitution, isn't it? Tossan it is that's coming on. And he's about 8'4". Steve says there, put foot on the throat with 10 men. Crazy. I mean, what on earth has Arteta done? What on earth has he done? 88th minute we're in. There's going to be a whole hunk of stoppage time, and we still may get a win out of this. But honestly, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I just can't. I honestly can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. Fulham get down to 10 men, and at the same time they go down to 10 men, he makes a defensive substitution. What an absolute clown. Just makes no sense. Nothing has made sense in this game from Arsenal today. We almost got away with it there, didn't we? Sneaking a victory from that we didn't deserve. And now we're getting what we deserve out of this game, and Arteta's getting what he deserves for that ridiculous substitution. Absolutely. And it was actually Zinchenko that gave that ball away that led to that corner as well. What on earth is he doing playing for Arsenal? The guy's crap. Go back to your own country, mate. That's where you want to be, don't you? You go on about Ukraine all the time. When you go back there, you love it so much. Get out of our club and all. Jorginho plays that ball out to the far side. So, we're going to win this game now. Saka plays it into Jorginho. Ben White, a low cross, cut out. Ben White tries to win it again, and then Fulham just hoof it anywhere. It was actually Paulinho who scored the goal. The Portuguese, it's gone out for a corner to Arsenal. We're into the last 30 seconds of normal time. Phil says, yeah, we don't deserve this as fans. Cruz, exactly, yeah. I just can't, honestly, I can't believe what I've watched in this last 10 minutes of this game. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I want to hear his excuses afterwards. You'll probably score now and win the game, and then he won't have any excuses to make, will he? But it doesn't cover up the fact that he's an incompetent piece of shit. Anyway, Arsenal in possession now. Saka over on that far side. Fabio Vieira made a big impact actually today. He's had a good game, Fabio Vieira, since he's come on. Zinchenko plays up his near side to Eddie Nketiah. Can he get another goal? That shot there is blocked. Comes back out to William Saliba. Now it's back with Martinelli. Struggles to get it under control. Now it's with Zinchenko. Low cross in again. It's a Fulham body in the way. That was Diop, who's defended well. Now Eddie's got a little bit of space inside the penalty. Eddie Nketiah. Shot comes in. It's blocked again by Fulham. They're throwing their bodies on line. It's going to be 9 minutes of stoppage time. Terry says, if I was Silver, I'd put 3 forwards on. He brings Jesus on now. He's bringing Jesus on now, everyone. Oh, my God. What an absolute fucking idiot. Declan Rice is going off, and he's bringing Gabriel Jesus on now. What an absolute clown, honestly. Well played, Decky, again, son. And Gabriel Jesus is on now. Why didn't you do that before and killed the game off? Ridiculous. Wow. Anyway, Raul Jimenez has now gone down injured, so we're going to get a little bit more stoppage time, aren't we? I'd like to know who Arteta's going to be blaming in this game, actually. It's his own fault. It's him that he's got the blame. 2 terrible goals to concede, terrible substitutions, terrible lineup, just terrible, terrible performance. And we're going to get away with a draw by looking at it. We may even still sneak it, but wow, it's just been absolutely shambolic. Shambolic. They're just showing all the goals again. I mean, conceding the goal from a corner like that. Wow. Anyway, Vieira plays that ball out to that far side. I'd say he's done well with it. Ben White now, low ball into the 6-yard box, cleared away again by Paulinho. He's probably going to get player of the match because he's defended well and has got that goal as well. We've played nearly 2 minutes of the 9, but there'll probably be another 2 added on after that as well. That stoppage just there. Zinchenko played the ball through, looking for Martinelli. Wasn't a great ball. Zinchenko, I don't want to see him playing again, quite honestly. Anyway, Raul Jimenez is back on again. It is Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. This game has just been absolute. It's a shambles, honestly. It's an absolute shambles. Arteta's blaming the fourth official. He's already got himself booked for acting like an idiot when we were winning 2-1. You know, Bert Leno with this goal kick. Remember, it's 10-man Fulham this. They had a player sent off and we were winning 2-1 at the time. Just remember that. Even if we win this game 3-2, remember that. Terry says, this could have happened against Forest. And no, you're right. It could easily have done. Absolutely. In fact, against Palace, we were hanging on with 10 men ourselves, wasn't we? Martinelli over on that near side. Fulham desperately trying to hang on in stoppage time. Eddie, a nice little turn actually there from Eddie. Finds Bukayo Saka, gets it back. Eddie on the edge of the penalty area. Ball into the box. Arsenal player goes down. It was Jesus, I think it was. It's across to the far post. Good defensive header there. It's going to come. Oh, a spectacular shot there. Who was that? Had that overhead kick. Good save from Leno. In fact, the flag's up anyway. Was that Martinelli with that overhead kick? Because that wasn't Martinelli. No, it was unbelievable. That overhead kick actually. It was a great save. Who was it at that? That was incredible. It was offside. It was Jesus and Nketiah was offside. Was it Fabio Vieira? What a goal that would have been actually. He has made a big impact. This has been Vieira's best game actually for Arsenal. You have to say, definitely been his best game. Steve says they're very poor against low sides. Yeah, no, you're right. We have been very poor. Very, very poor. You know, we've still got time in this game to win, and I still feel that we probably will, even though we definitely don't deserve it. We just probably will. Anyways, Zinchenko there plays the ball out. There's a little bit of space now. Obviously, Fulham with 10 players have had to work so hard. Gabriel Jesus over on that far side. His first real involvement. Tries to go past Anthony Robinson, but isn't able to do so. And then Fulham just boot the ball up the pitch and out for a throw. We've played 94.5 minutes. Arsenal 2, 10-man Fulham 2. Arsenal pressing for the winner. The cross comes in. It's going to come all the way across here to Martinelli on this near side. Gabriel Martinelli inside the penalty area. Back heels it to Zinchenko. Gets it back again. Martinelli. Can Arsenal get the ball in the box? Jorginho plays the ball to Martinelli. Zinchenko now. Can he get a cross in? He does get a cross in, but it's not a particularly good cross. And Fulham deal with that quite easily. But it's going to be a throw to Arsenal. Phil says there we're going to get some sound beatings by better sides if this rot isn't stopped. Absolutely. Phil says Arteta's brain rot. Indeed, yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I want to know. I want to hear some journalist have the bottle to ask Arteta what on earth he was thinking about with that substitution. I want someone to ask him that question. I'm not bottle out of it. Someone's got to ask him that. What on earth were you thinking? Making a defensive substitution at 2-1 up against 10 men, inviting pressure onto yourself. Why would you do that? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we've seen enough of this over the last 3 years anyway. I don't know why we're even surprised. Steve says, Rice thinking, what have I done? Should have stayed at West Ham. Should have gone to, who was it else? Man City wanted him, didn't they? He should have gone there, shouldn't he, quite clearly. I love Declan Rice, so I'm not going to criticise him. Fabio Vieira is going to take this free kick. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts a good ball in because he's done well, Fabio Vieira, today. That's been the one bright spark for me because we haven't seen much of Fabio Vieira, have we? We've not really think he's good enough. But today he's made a big impact in this game. He's going to take a free kick now. And it is a decent ball, actually, but Fulham do manage to head it away. They've got some height in there, haven't they? Defending for their lives. Raul Jimenez there hoofs the ball away. Fulham have got at least 3 minutes more to hang on, maybe a bit more than that, because there has been some more stoppages. Mark C says there are 3 games. We haven't really played well. No, you're right. We haven't played well at all in any of the games. Absolutely not. And even if we manage to win this one, to me, it asks more questions than it answers. All 3 of these games. But that was a free kick against Fabio Vieira, which was strange. It looked like he made the foul. Anyway, suddenly Adama Traore, you know how fast he is. He's getting in. Is Traore going to win it for Fulham? Oh, good save from Ramsdale there. Fulham almost winning it there in stoppage time. Wow. Adama Traore, we know how fast he is. He absolutely ripped past, I think it was Kiwior, got the shot away. That's a good save from Ramsdale, actually, because if that goes in and we actually lost this game, well, what on earth would happen there? I do not know. Anyway, we are coming forward again. Saka trying to battle away for the ball on the edge of the box. Can Arsenal now find a winning goal? It's been an incredible stoppage time period, hasn't it, really, to be fair? The last few minutes of this game has been mad. You know, Martinelli now coming forward for Arsenal. Fulham basically just left Traore up there for a counter attack. Zinchenko whips a ball in, decent enough ball that time, headed away though again by Issa Diop, who's played well at the back for Fulham. It comes to Martinelli on this near side. Martinelli looking for a little bit of space, finds Zinchenko. He did whip in a decent cross there. That one's not so good. That wasn't a great clearance actually this time. And it's going to be put out for a throw. We've played 97.5 minutes. Mark C says, how the hell are we playing Kyrgios ahead of Gabs? Something's happened there quite clearly. There's issues going on behind the scenes at Arsenal at the minute. Zinchenko's cross again. Again, it's headed away by Fulham, who have defended for their absolute lives in this game. You have to say they've been magnificent. Again, they throw a body in the way, get the ball clear. Aaron Ramsdale, though, now is on halfway for Arsenal, plays it out that far side. We're into the 99th minute of this game. There could be a bit more stoppage time to come. Ben White now coming forward for Arsenal. That ball swung into the box, headed away again at the far post by Kenny Tete. He'll be relieved, won't he, after that penalty he gave away. This cross comes in this time from Kyrgios, cleared away only as far as Jorginho there it was. Oh, sorry, William Saliba now. Fabio Vieira has done well again over on that far side. He's going for it. Fabio Vieira, can he get the cross in? He plays it back instead to Saka on the edge of the box. We're coming up to the 9th minute now, 99th or 100th minute it will be. Cross comes in from Vieira again, but Leno at full stretch gets a fist on that ball. And now Raul Jimenez in a defensive role. He's just going to boot that ball as far away from the goal as he can. Goes into the halfway line. Fulham aren't even bothered about getting people out of the pitch now. They're just going to hang on grimly for this point, aren't they? Which they do deserve. There's no doubt about that. Can Fabio Vieira win it? Oh, great save from Leno. Right at the end. Fabio Vieira, Arteta holds his head in his hands. He wants to be holding his head at himself. Fabio Vieira's done well again. He's going to be playing the match for me. Fabio Vieira, he's been brilliant since he came on. Wow. Terry says there, I wonder how bullshit TV will defend. Well, I'd like to know how anyone's going to defend this, quite honestly. The corner comes in from Saka, the edge of the 6-yard box. Leno's put under pressure again. The ball bouncing around inside the 6-yard box. Was it Ben White in there? No, it was Kyrgios. And again, Fulham managed to clear it away. It's going to be another corner. We've played nearly we're in the 100th minute now. Kyrgios there trying to scramble the ball in. Leno felt he was fouled, but it's a corner. Diop it was, got that ball away. We're now, whatever the referee's had on, we've already played an extra minute. We've played 10 minutes of stoppage time. There's 100 minutes on the clock. Can Arsenal find this winner? A terrible corner this time, headed away. And there goes the full-time whistle. It's finished here. It's been an absolute disaster class from Arteta today. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. And to be honest with you, we're lucky to get away with a point. Marco Silva storms off down the tunnel, not happy with several decisions that went on in that game. You can't really blame him for that. It all started so badly for Arsenal. We conceded a goal after just 90. Well, what was it? After a minute it wasn't it? Inside the first minute. Terrible ball by Saka was finished really well by Andres Pereira. Arsenal huffed and puffed, never really looked like getting back into the game, to be honest. It looked like it was just going to fizzle out. But 20 minutes to go. Fabio Vieira, the substitute, came on, made a massive impact. He did a great run down the near side. He was brought down in the box. A terrible challenge from Kenny Tete. Really naive challenge that was. And Bukayo Saka eventually slotted home the penalty. Very soon after that, Fulham had a player injured, in a defender inside the penalty area. And it was Vieira's cross was turned home by Eddie Nketiah. It looked as though Arsenal were going to get away with it. But Fulham then got a player sent off. It was Callum Bassey. He'd already been booked for time wasting. He got a second yellow card for a stupid foul inside the centre circle. Fulham were down to 10 men. We were 2-1 up with, 6-7 minutes of normal time remaining. Instead of going for it, bringing on an attacking player or just trying to go and kill the game off, he makes a defensive substitution. We sit deeper and deeper, invite pressure on. Fulham get a corner, and the impressive João Palhinha put it in to make it 2-2. And yes, Arsenal had some pressure at the end, of course. But actually, Fulham had the best chance. Adama Traore in stoppage time broke clear, steamed forward, and it was only a good save actually from Ramsdale that preserved our point, which quite honestly we were lucky to get anyway. It was just terrible in-game management. It was terrible lineup, terrible tactics, just awful. I'm not surprised. No doubt there's going to be loads and loads of people defending Arteta tonight. I'm sure there will be. It's not his fault. It's everybody else's fault. It's the rain. It's the grass. It's the it's the referee. There'll be some load of bullshit that people are going to blame. One person's to blame for this absolute disastrous performance today, and that's the manager. And that's the bottom line. Rajendra says Arteta has lots to think about. Well, hopefully the one thing he'll think about is he'll just leave and resign and realise he's not good enough for this job to take us where we need to be. He's got to realise that. Terry says, I started with Arteta out and my mind hasn't been changed one bit. Well, no, certainly that's not going to change your mind, is it, that performance? Absolutely, definitely not. I mean, unbelievable, really. Mark C says, if we play like this against some of our biggest rivals, we'll get murdered. Well, yeah, as we did at points last season. I mean, Fulham are celebrating their point, and why not? They gave everything today, Fulham. You have to say, tactically, they were spot on. They defended for their lives, great substitutions, and they got their point with 10 players. And fully deserved as well. I thought Paulina there in midfield, just sitting in front of the back four, was absolutely brilliant for Fulham, actually. What a great performance from him. Phil says, carry on, Arteta. Yeah, exactly. He'll carry on. They're not going to sack him. Absolutely no chance why they're sacking him. Absolutely no chance. Terry says, let's hope it's flights to Spain. Yeah, let's hope it is some flights to Spain. It won't be, will it? Steve says, well, it's a shame that we've allowed this manager to continue in the job for as long as we have. Phil says, feeling a bit livid, to be honest, and it's clear you are. So, yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Honestly, that is, if we were a team like Crystal Palace and, you know, we're 2-1 up and you think, okay, yeah, you know, let's just win the game, you can understand it a little bit. If you're a small club that maybe doesn't expect to win too many games, then, you know, you're 2-1 up, the other team's got 10 players. Yeah, make a defensive substitution. We're Arsenal, we're at home to Fulham. We're 2-1 up against 10 men. You have got to go for that at that point. You've got to go for it and kill that game off. And that's what you do. You win that game 4-1. You imagine Man City. You imagine what Pep would have done in a game like that. He's not going to bring defensive midfield players on, is he? Against 10 men. They'd have won this game 4-5-1 City in the end. They'd have just peppered the goal and just got loads of chances. I mean, unbelievable what I've just... Well, I can't actually believe what I've just seen. I can't actually believe it. And I don't even care that we haven't lost the game. As far as I'm concerned, we have lost that game because it was dreadful. Even before all of that nonsense with bringing on a defensive midfield player when we're winning against 10 men. Even before that, it was terrible. Unbelievable. Terry says, looking forward to the Adam and Steve show this week. Yeah, it's going to be good. That, yeah, I'll be looking forward to that as well, actually. Mark C says, we play Man U next. Now, isn't there another game before Man U? Well, no, it's Man U next, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Nathan says, first draw results. First few results papered over the crowd. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Nottingham Forest game was terrible. Really, it was terrible, wasn't it? But, you know, Nottingham Forest and Nottingham Forest. I thought the Crystal Palace game, we were probably a little bit... We played well. We got the lead. We went down to 10 men and we did what we had to do to win that game. I don't think that was too bad. It wasn't a great performance. But, yeah, we've not played well yet. 3 games in. Yes, we've got 7 points. But we've not played well at all. I have to say, though, as much as I've not rated him, Fabio Vieira today, when he came on, he turned that game. He was brilliant, actually. Absolutely brilliant. Well played, Fabio Vieira. Absolutely fantastic. He had 100% passing accuracy as well. So there you go. Brilliant from him today. But everybody else, hang your heads in shame, Arsenal. That was embarrassing, honestly. Absolutely embarrassing. João Paulinho covered 11.1 kilometres in that game. Wow. I mean, he's going to be man of the match, quite honestly. He was amazing, wasn't he? Terry says, Man U 1-3-2. Yeah, they did from 2-0 down as well. Steve says there, you watch his post-match interview all rubbish. No, he will be. I want someone to ask him, one, what on earth he's playing at with this formation with Partey as a right back. And also what that substitution was about. Honestly, what was that substitution about? I want him to come out and have to explain that. You know, he's being paid a lot of money to be manager of Arsenal, and I want an explanation. I think we all deserve an explanation what on earth that was all about, because that was just crazy. It was literally the most stupidest substitution I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And he's made some crazy decisions in the 4 years that he's been at Arsenal, but that one tops a lot for me. That was just absolutely ridiculous, just mental. I honestly can't believe it. It's almost laughable. It's the sort of thing that like a Sunday league manager would do, wouldn't it? Who don't really know what they're doing. But you know, a manager of one of the biggest clubs in the world making that sort of substitution. Just unbelievable. Phil says there is no way he'll blame himself for that shit show. Utterly deluded. He won't. Absolutely right. He never does. He never does. He thinks he's better than what he is. Clearly, he thinks he's as good as Pep. That's what he thinks in his mind, and he's not having nothing else. You know, he won't let anybody else say anything differently to him. But he is an absolute clown. Honestly, he doesn't know what he's doing. Terry says, I can't believe Arteta's backroom staff haven't called him out. Well, because he's got all yes men around him, Terry, hasn't he? He's only got people. Why do you think that Steve Round? Why do you think he got rid of him in the summer? Because probably Steve Round was the one who was calling him out. That's probably why. He's now gone. And he's getting in people that, yes, Mikel, no, Mikel, whatever you say, Mikel. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. He needs, you know, he's not gonna have people around him that are going to disagree with him, is he? Look at all the players he's got rid of that didn't understand him, couldn't work with him. He's got rid of them because that's what he's like. He just wants people in that will do what he says without questioning them. That's what he wants. But unfortunately, in top level sport, you don't get anywhere unless you've got players that are able to take responsibility. But Mikel doesn't want that. He doesn't want anybody to take any responsibility. Steve says feels like a loss. It actually feels worse than a loss. I know it seems strange to say that. It feels worse than a loss because we've just seen where we are with this manager. Clueless, absolutely clueless. And if anybody can't see that now after this game today, then honestly, I've lost for words. I'd give up, honestly. If you cannot see this guy is never, ever going to be the manager to take Arsenal to where we want to be, then honestly, I've got nothing else to say because I just can't believe it. Anyway, the other results then, Brentford won, Crystal Palace won. That game finished. It was Sade for Brentford. I don't know if that's how you say his name. And Crystal Palace equalised in the second half with Joshi Manderson. Oh, wow, listen to this. Everton 0, Wolves 1. So I think Sean Dyche is going to be the first manager to be sacked. It was a very late goal there from Kaladis for Wolves. Man United were 2-0 down. In 4 minutes, actually, they were 2-0 down. They came back to win 3-2. It was Awomyi and Bolly with their goals for Forest, and then Ericsson, Casemiro, and a Bruno Fernandes penalty. Forest were down to 10 men as well. Worrell got sent off in the 67th minute. Of course, earlier, Tottenham won 2-0 away at Bournemouth. Madison and Kulishevsky with their goals. We've got a game later as well, at 5:30. Brighton against West Ham. Should be a good game, actually, but Brighton are absolutely flying at the minute, aren't they? And West Ham are just kind of, you know, they're a bit okay, but you'd imagine Brighton will probably win that one. Terry says we should do really well in the Champions League. Oh, absolutely. I think we'll do really well in the Champions League playing this formation today and bringing on those ridiculous substitutions. I think, yeah, we're bound to do well in the Champions League. Steve says Arteta never wrong. Well, no, exactly. He's never wrong. I'm going to go on Twitter later. No doubt I'm going to fall out of a load of people again, and I don't really care because I want the best for this club. I want the best people in the jobs to do the best job. Now we've got some very, very good players. We've got a talented group of players. There's no question about that. Overall, it's a very good squad, isn't it? We've got some great players, and Arteta's got the players in that he's wanted. And he produces shit like this, and it's not just a one-off, is it? This happens far too often, and I just want the best for this club. I want the best people in the top positions, and we don't have that. We don't have that, and nobody can convince me otherwise. You know, Arteta took us down to 8th place twice, right? And he slowly got us back in the right direction, but it's taken longer than it needed to take. The reason for that is because half the players he's bought, he's had to get rid of again, and then he's almost had to do in 4 years. He's had to almost do 3 rebuilds because he had to get rid of the Emery players that he didn't like, couldn't get on with. He's brought in a load of other players which again he can't get on with, so he's had to get rid of. And now he's got another group of players now that it's almost like he's only been in. He's not even been 4 years yet, and he's basically had the reign to create 3 different teams, all of which have failed to do anything much. And it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. You know, looking at Kai Havertz, is Kai Havertz going to be another one of these players? Is he going to be another Willian who comes in, doesn't work out, and he has to get rid of, like loads of other players? There's a whole list of them. We can make a team up, couldn't we, of players Arteta's brought in that haven't worked out. And who do we blame? Who do we blame for that? Do we blame the players for not being able to fit into Arteta's system, or do we blame the manager for bringing them in the first place and not being able to work with them. And look at the quality players that he's got rid of because they've got a little bit too much personality. Maybe give it a little bit too much of that. Do you know what I mean? And he's got rid of them rather than actually sitting down and being able to work with them. You know, a player who got a golden boot, scored 30 goals, won us an FA Cup. Look at what we've got now. Do you know what I mean? At half time today, he takes off Trossard. Saka had a terrible first half. Martinelli had a terrible first half. Kai Havertz did nothing. He could have picked someone to take off. He takes off Trossard. I'm sorry, but no. And Trossard, let's bear in mind, Trossard's a player that he brought in. He brought him in. And he doesn't even trust him. He takes him off at half time. I'm sorry. But no. Terry says, I think Arteta is playing like this to give City a false sense of security. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's what he's doing. Steve says, play average early, then play better opposite from last season. Well, last season, we had momentum built up in pre-season, didn't we? We were playing really well in pre-season. We won all our pre-season games, looked great, and we started the season with that. This season in pre-season, we've been all over the place. There's been experiments, different formations, different players. We've come into the season disjointed, and we've seen the result of that today. Again, we've seen the result of that. It's not just today, is it? You know, it's been all since the start of the season. That's the way it's been. So, yeah, I mean, what can you say? I don't know. I'm lost, actually. I'm lost for words. I was prepared to give Arteta the benefit of the doubt to a certain degree because we did overperform last season, but he did get us back in the Champions League. And you're thinking, okay, you know, yes, he deserved another opportunity this season to try and go one better, but I've given up with him now. You know, this to me is probably worse than if you remember that spell in the COVID season where we were losing game after game and he was lucky to keep his job. To me, this is worse now for the simple fact that we've now got better players. We've got a better team now than we had then. You could almost make the excuse then that the players weren't always good enough. Mark C said, we've got the rubber and the green in a few games last season. Without that, it doesn't look good for us. No, yeah, you're right. And we got the rubber and the green today. You know, we went from 1-0 down being absolutely crap to suddenly being 2-1 up from nothing. And we got the rubber and the green there, didn't we, today? And I mean, I agree with you. I think last season we did get a lot of luck at certain times of the games. I agree, we did. But you think about it, right? And I've worked out all the stats on this since Arteta came in. If you break it down into 19 game spells, which is half a season at a time, our average points in 19 games under Arteta has been about 33, around about 33, 34 points, right? The first 19 games of last season, we got 50, which was massively overachieving for what we do. And in the second, what we got 34 or something, didn't we? Which was average again. And that's the average we're looking at. And over the course of a season, that's what 70 odd points, around about 68, 70 points, which is top six. And this is where this manager is. He's a top six manager. We got a little bit lucky last season. We got a bit of momentum built up and we got that great start to the season. And then in the end, the second half of the season was just a normal Arsenal under Arteta season. And unfortunately, this is what we have to understand. And we can spend as much money as we like. We can throw money at it. Why not throw money at it? But I've said this before. People have said to me, Pep Guardiola is just a checkbook manager. Jose Mourinho before was a checkbook manager. You can spend all the money you like, but if you can't make it work as a team with all the money that you spend, you're never going to achieve anything. Pep's managed to do that constantly, building teams. Spending money, but building teams. Mourinho did it for years, didn't he? All that success that he had. He spent money, but he spent money on the right players and he could build the team to work. That's what Pep done. It's what Ferguson done several times before. It's what, you know, Wenger did it in a different way because he didn't have the money. So he had to get the best out of the players that he could buy. And that's what he did to keep us competitive in the top four for all those years, even though we had no money with the stadium move. What Arteta's doing is he's just buying players. They're not working, and he's thinking, "Well, I'll just go and buy another one then." You know, I'll get Willie at him, pay him 200 grand a week. Oh, it doesn't work, doesn't matter. I'll just get rid of him. I'll buy someone else. I'll buy Lokonga, get him in. Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, we'll get rid of him. We'll buy someone else. You know, we'll buy Fabio Vieira, and he played well today. But that's not the point, is it? It's just I don't know. Anyway, Phil says Wenger in. I would rather have Wenger now then this absolute clown. Absolutely. Terry says, Richard, I'm 100% behind you. Just wish a lot of Arsenal fans showed your passion. But this is the thing, you see. I get called negative a lot, right? I get called, I'm not a proper Arsenal fan because I have never bought into this rubbish from Arteta. I've never bought into it. And people, sometimes the argument has been, well, he's learning on the job. We're Arsenal, mate. We're not a YTS scheme. Do you know what I mean? And we shouldn't be experimenting with a manager who's learning on the job. At £700 million, we've let him spend, and we're saying he's learning on the job. No, you give £700 million to a manager who knows what he's doing. You give £700 million to a manager like Pep. In fact, you give £700 million to a manager like Eddie Howe, and you win titles. That's what happens, right? You give £700 million to Arteta, and this is the bullshit that you get because he's a rookie, doesn't know what he's doing. He's overthinking things. Now, what I found quite interesting is the documentary that we had. What was it? The All or Nothing, right? Arteta came across in that as being a total fruit loop, quite honestly. Some of the absolute ridiculous things he came out with, right? And just confusing everybody. And that's the problem, isn't it? And then I saw the Arsenal women's one, looking at Jonas's, how clear and simple his instructions are. And you see the difference, and it's like, wow, you know, I'm not saying Jonas Isabel should be managing a men's team. No, he's a women's football manager, and he's very good at it. But come on. Mark C says, this inverted fullback nonsense isn't working. No, it isn't. I never, ever want to see it. I don't even want to hear the word inverted fullback again. I do not want to hear that word. I just hate it. I hate it. It's just, unless you've actually got the team to be able to do it. And because Pep does it, everyone thinks that's the way forward. No, it's not the way forward. You know, I don't want to see that. It's not Arsenal's way. I do not want to see it. So he says, I'd say top 8 if we're lucky playing like this. Well, I'd say top 6 is where we are. I think we've got a top 6 manager, and even we probably haven't even got a top 6 manager. We'll get top 6 with this manager because of the money that he's been allowed to spend. So we've got some very, very good players. So of course we're going to get top 6. But with this squad, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'll constantly say it. Last season, if other Man City swap managers with this group of players that we had, Pep wins the Premier League with this team, and Arteta would fail with Man City's team. And that's where we are. And when are people going to wake up and realise that? If we swap managers with Newcastle, if we had Eddie Howe with this group of players, do you not think that we'd be doing better? Do you not think we'd have won something last season? Look what Eddie Howe did with the Newcastle team. You know, yes, they bought some good players as well, but they had some absolute dross in that team that they've still got. But he's improved them. He's got more out of them because he's a proper manager. He's a proper coach, knows what he's doing. He can manage his team, manage his squad. And Arteta cannot do that. Terry says, Arteta will never be Pep unless he says, well, he won't ever be Pep. You're absolutely right. Steve says, Phil couldn't be worse off, real. I'd rather Wenger, not Mendy. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Arsenal was never, ever going to be the same after Wenger left. And one of the reasons why I always backed Wenger as long as possible, because I couldn't see what would happen afterwards. It worried me what was going to happen afterwards because of how much legacy Wenger had created and how much it changed the whole club. And he did it straight away, didn't he? Winning that double in his first full season, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted after that. And I was worried where the club was going to go. And the Emery thing didn't work. And I don't really blame Emery. At the time, I didn't, you know, it wasn't working with Emery. And I was as vocal as anybody else about that. You know, the football was not great. It wasn't working out. But the reason for that now, looking back on it with hindsight, is he wasn't backed. He wasn't given the players he wanted. So Emery was never, ever going to work. He was basically battling for nothing, wasn't he? And now we've tried this whole new approach with Arteta to try to become Man City, thinking it's going to work because Pep knows, because Arteta worked with Pep and he knows him very well. But it's not as simple as that, is it? It really isn't as simple as that. Terry said, I thought Eddie Howe was going to be our manager at one point. Well, it was mentioned, wasn't it? It was mentioned. But yeah, at the time, I said no. and I remember saying no when it was mentioned about Eddie Howe. But looking back on it now, yes, he's a great. He's actually surprised me how well he's done at Newcastle. I've got to be honest. I thought Newcastle brought him in as a stopgap to get them out of trouble that year after the takeover, and then once they started spending the money, they'd get another manager in, a more experienced manager, maybe a manager from a bigger club to come in and take them to that next level. But actually, what you've got to say is what Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle has been remarkable. It has been remarkable in that short period of time. Yes, he's had money to spend. Of course, he has. He's brought players in like Isak. He's brought in Bruno Guimaraes. He's brought in Botman at the back, and some great players. But he's actually improved a lot of the dross that they had, or looked like they were dross. Joe Linton couldn't play, and he's got him playing better. Sean Longstaff. So many players he's improved. Who actually has Arteta improved since he's been at Arsenal? He hasn't. He's just got rid of them. He hasn't worked with them. He's just got rid of them. Kieran Tierney, how good was Kieran Tierney for 2 years? Arteta's come in and ruined him, absolutely ruined him. He's not improved anyone. He's made everybody worse. That's what he's done. Mark C says, home to United, away to Everton, home to Spurs. I'm not looking forward to these unless suddenly find a backbone. Well, I mean, Everton at the minute can't beat no one, so they're bound to beat us, aren't they? Let's face it. They won't win in any other game before Christmas apart from beating us. Phil says, AFTV is going to be hilarious. Yeah, it probably will be hilarious. Steve says, players make Pep look good. Not this. No, but Pep, I don't know. See, the more Pep's been here longer and what he's doing at Man City, I've got all my hands up. I don't particularly like him. I don't like their style of football. I never have done. But you've got to hold your hands up and say he is a fantastic manager. What he's done to be able to, he's built two Man City teams essentially. Well, maybe three even you could say, and each of them have been successful, winning the Premier League, winning big titles. Yes, he's got the money. He spent the money. We've spent the money. It's not just about spending money, is it? The players make Pep look good because they're the players that he's bought and the players that he's improved on the training pitch every week. That's why the players do the job on the pitch. The players make every manager look good and bad, don't they? When how they perform, and it's the players that you bring in. And looking at the players that Arteta's brought in, you have to question it. Terry says, didn't he ask for Zaha and he got Pepe? He says, well, yeah, exactly. We got Pepe because our operations manager, transfer guy at the time, Raul Sonali, could get a backhander from that deal. That's why he couldn't get that same deal to get Zaha. So the club was literally rotten at that point. And yes, we've changed things, but we've got the wrong people. Edu's not the right man to do this. Arteta's not the right man to do it. We've got the wrong people. That's blatantly obvious. Terry says, when you think what Brighton have done puts us to shame. Yeah, I mean, Brighton, an example, I mean, they're playing a little bit later on tonight against West Ham. Won their first two games. Look at the players they have to sell to survive. In fact, Brighton, you look at the Brighton model, and it's almost like the Arsenal model under Wenger, wasn't it? Every year we were selling our best players. We were buying in cheaper replacements, and then Wenger was developing and making them better players, and then we were selling on. Look at Nasri, for example, Bakary Senya. These players that he brought in reasonably cheap, improved them and sold them on for profit. Oxlade-Chamberlain. So this is something that Arsene Wenger did really well, and it was almost like that's like the Brighton model now, isn't it? That's what they do, don't they? They get these players, they improve them, they sell them for big money, buy cheaper replacements in, and do the same process again. How long Brighton can sustain that? Southampton did it for a while. Look where they are now. Arsenal did it for all that time because we're a big club able to sustain that. Plus, we had Arsene Wenger, and I would much prefer to be doing that if I'm honest. Look now, we can't sell players. We can't get any money. We can't get any decent money for any of our players because we've given them ridiculous contract. Eddie Nketiah, 100 grand a week. I mean, whoever came up with that as a sensible solution to anything should be sacked. Quite honestly, they should have been sacked. You can't give a player like Eddie Nketiah 100 grand a week because that 100 grand a week can actually go on a proper striker who can win your titles. But no, in 4 years, let me just point this out in case you're not sure, right? In 4 years, Arteta's bought one striker, and that striker is Gabriel Jesus, who he works with at Man City, so he knew him. He's not bought in a striker he's not worked with before. All the strikers that he had who scored goals before he arrived, Lacazette, Aubameyang, couldn't get on with them. He got rid of them and he hasn't replaced them. He's got instead you know, goals from different areas of the pitch than just your strikers, right? Which is fair enough if it works, but it's too easy to read. We haven't got the, you know, even Man City in the end, even Pep decided that actually I need to get a 30, 40 goal striker in. And that's what he's done. And look, they got the treble. Where we're still pissing around with this inverted fullbacks, inverted wingers, just crap false nines. What's that all about? 2 8s, 2 6s. No, let's stop over complicating football. Brian Clough once said, football is a very simple game, right? It is a very simple game. Why the fuck are we overcomplicating it with all this bullshit? You know, play 4 at the back, a left back, a right back, 2 centre backs who can all defend. That's what you want to do. Then you can pick your midfield. I personally would like to see Rice and Partey as a partnership in there. Erdegaard floating around because that's what he's good at. And then from the front three, I would like to see a centre forward and then Saka and Martinelli or Trossard and Saka either side of them with a proper centre forward. That's the way to play. That's the way English football's been. And I wouldn't really change that too much. And we've got the players to make that work. That's the frustrating thing. We've got the players to make that system work, apart from a centre forward. That's what we do need. But Arteta won't buy one because he hasn't done so far. Steve says Brighton will smash us at the ground. Well, I don't think we're planning for a while. Brighton can't sustain that form throughout the season, can they? If you're unfortunate to play Brighton at the start of the season, you're probably going to have difficulties. If you play them later in the season, you might have trouble because the pressure's off then and they can relax. The bit in the middle when it's hard, isn't it? When you've got a lot of games coming out, you've got all the cup competitions, Brighton have got Europe. That's the time to play Brighton. And I think if we have Brighton in that spell, we'll probably win. We'll probably beat them. As we did last year. Phil says we need a big club manager. Exactly, we do. Big club. Exactly, we are a big club. Phil says that's not Arteta. No, it isn't Arteta. Absolutely not Arteta. It never has been. It never will be. The guy is a fraud. He's a rookie. Doesn't know what he's doing. He's been given this free reign almost to do whatever he likes. And quite how that's been allowed to happen, I do not know. I absolutely do not know. But anyway. Is what it is. He's going to be staying for the foreseeable. They're not getting rid of him. They are not getting rid of him. It doesn't matter what happens this season. It doesn't matter where we finish. It doesn't matter if we win the trophy or not win a trophy. Arteta is not going anywhere this season. We are lumbered with him for God knows how much longer. And that's the truth of the matter. They're not going to sack him. Absolutely. There's no way they sacked him when they spent all this money with him to rebuild the whole thing. I don't know how long they're going to wait. I can't see him sacking him for the next 2 years at least, regardless of what happens. But we'll see. But today, it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster class from Arteta from start to finish, from team selection, formation, all the way through to substitutions, in-game management. The whole lot was just inept. And in the end, we've got a draw against 10 men at home, which on its own sounds bad. But in actual fact, we were lucky to get a draw. We could and maybe should have lost that game. We got a little bit fortunate to even get a draw in the end. Yes, Fulham have got a late goal. You could say, well, you know, we were unlucky. No, we wasn't unlucky. We got the maximum we deserved out of that game today. And we were quite fortunate. Right from the start, it was just a disaster. And yeah, quite honestly, that was one of the most confusing games of football I think I've ever seen from an Arsenal team ever. And that includes all the previous games from Arteta, which is a lot of them have been confusing. But that today, it was a mess, absolute mess. Anyway, we're not going to change it, are we? You know, we can sit here all night and we can try and dissect it and we can come up with different solutions. But ultimately, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change because the club are quite happy. The club are quite happy with this situation. And it seems as though there's a lot of the fans are quite happy with it as well. They're quite happy just figuring out, you know, we finished second last year. It's all right, isn't it? It's an improvement. We finished fifth the year before. Forgetting the fact that we blew the top four that we should have got the year before, and the fact that we blew the title last year that we should have won. And the reason why we blew both of those things is because this manager doesn't know what he's doing. But despite all of that, oh yeah, no, we keep improving every year, don't we? We keep improving. We've moved up from eighth to eighth to fifth to second. What more do you want? No, I don't want any more for this club. That's all we deserve as Arsenal fans, isn't it? That's all this club deserves as Arsenal being the third most successful club in English football history. Let's just muddle along. Let's just muddle along. And if, yeah, we're improving a little bit. There's a nice little atmosphere. There's a nice little dog called Win who runs around the training ground and everybody loves him. You know what I mean? That's what more could you want from a club? What more could you want from a manager than that? It's happy, clappy dressing room and all that kind of stuff. No, not for me. I'm sorry. Call me negative if you like. I don't really care. I want more for this club. I want better than what we've currently got in charge of this club. Not just Arteta. Yes, he's the biggest issue, but even around that as well, the coaching staff, Edu, everybody at the top of this club, not good enough. Not good enough. We've got a good group of players here. We just need someone else to come in and take us to that next level and get us these big trophies that we as Arsenal fans we should all be demanding it now. With the money that we've spent, all of us should be demanding that we win some big trophies now. And if you're quite happy, if you're out there and you're quite happy muddling along, if we get top four is all right. If we get knocked out of the FA Cup, it's all right. If we get to the knockout stage of the Champions League and lose to the first decent team we play, that's all right. Then you don't deserve to be an Arsenal fan, quite honestly, because we're a bigger club than that. We are a bigger club than that. We should be thinking bigger. We should be looking at, we've spent all this money. We have to win trophies. We have to. And if this manager can't do it, we get one in who can. And if the next manager comes in and he can't do it either, we get one who can. There's an endless supply of managers out there. You don't have to stick with this one unless he proves himself. And he hasn't done in nearly 4 years. But I'm negative. So there you go. But anyway, it finished at the Emirates today. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. I don't know what to make of that game. I can't even get my head around what went on for that 101 minutes, whatever it was. I cannot even get my head around it. It was just mad, ridiculous and mad. And I'm now going to try and find some Mikel Arteta after match reaction because I want to find out what on earth was going on in his head. I can't believe it, honestly. I cannot believe it. But anyway, it's done. We haven't lost the game. We're still unbeaten. The invincible season had its ups and downs, didn't it? Maybe this is where we're heading for. We haven't lost it in 3 games. We've played terrible for 3 games. We've got 7 points out of 9. So let's try and find some positives in that somewhere because I'm struggling at the moment to find too many positives. But anyway, Terry says, if Arteta had any love at all for Arsenal, he would jack it in. He won't. He's too arrogant. He's too self-centered to do that, isn't he? And he doesn't care about Arsenal. He cares about himself, and he wants to think he's the new Pep. But anyway, he isn't the new Pep, is he? Quite honestly. But anyway, so yeah, there we go. That's it today. We've got a draw. We could easily have lost that game. Anyway, it is what it is. We're probably stuck with his manager now for the foreseeable future, and we're just going to have to get on with it. But personally, I want better for this club. I want better for this club that I've supported all my life. I want to see more. I want to see a better manager. That's it. But anyway, it's finished 2-2. We'd probably still be in the top 3 or 4, won't we? 7 points. Let's have a look at the table, actually. See who is it. We're second. Look, we're second in the table behind Spurs. We're only 2 teams on 7 points from 3 games. Man United have only got 6. Man City have got 6. They've got a game in there. Brighton have got 6. They've got a game in there. They'll, of course, play later, as we know. Liverpool have got 4 with a game in hand. West Ham have got 4 with a game in hand. And Newcastle have got 3 with a game in hand as well. They play Liverpool tomorrow, actually. It's an important game, isn't it? Anyway, we're second in the league. We're unbeaten. It's happy days. But yeah, is it happy days? I don't know. Honestly, I'm actually shocked by that performance. That's how crap it was. That's how baffling it was. Just unbelievable. Anyway, enough of all this nonsense. I'm going to go and live my life now for a little while. It's finished at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. It was a goal after 1 minute by Andreas Pereira, put Fulham in front. We turned it around in the second half. It was a penalty from Bukayo Saka after substitute Fabio Vieira was brought down. And then another substitute, Eddie Nketiah, from Vieira's cross, was 2-1 up. Arteta then went into some sort of coma made some ridiculous substitutions. Fulham had a player sent off. We went all defensive, conceded a goal late on in the game from João Paulinho. I thought was brilliant for Fulham today to make it 2-2. And in fact, in the end, Adama Traore almost won it for Fulham in stoppage time. And they had 10 men, let's not forget. So, yeah, it finished 2-2. And quite honestly, well, I don't know what else to say, really. Steve says, yeah, sometimes you need people outside the club, not ex-players. Well, yeah, sometimes you do. You're absolutely right. Phil says, I'd like to say it's been a good one, but here you go. Thanks, Rich. We go, yeah, we'll be back next week. Don't worry. And I'm sure the game will be better. So he says, Richard, this is the most passionate I've seen you in a long time. I'm loving it, mate. Every Arsenal fan needs to take note. To be honest with you, everyone's just happy that Arteta's manager, aren't they? You know, but there you go. But that's the way it is. We got what we've got, and we have to get on with it. It won't change, will it? We'll still be back next game. We'll still be supporting the club, wanting the team to do well. But this is where we are, and unfortunately, we're just going to have to putt with it, aren't we? And there's nothing that we can do about it because nothing's changing in the foreseeable future. But anyway, so Richard, have a great rest of your bank holiday weekend. Come on, you Gooner girls, plus I'll take them out. Yeah. Yeah, so it's bank holiday weekend, isn't it? So it's all good. So enjoy your bank holiday weekend, everybody. We will be back. Well, Adam and Steve, of course, will be back on Tuesday with the Arsenal review. As Terry said earlier, looking forward to that show, actually, to see what the guys made of that one. Phil says, yes, Terry, indeed. Yeah, so join the guys on Tuesday, 8 o'clock for the Arsenal review, looking back on this game, looking at forward, of course, to the Manchester United game next weekend, previewing that one. So that's going to be all good stuff on Tuesday. So join the guys for that. I'll be back, of course, for the watch-along. I may throw one or two other things in the week as well. Now, I've got a few good things coming up, actually, on the channel I'm working on. Not quite any dates yet or anything set in stone, but there's one or two great things coming up. So please give us a like and please subscribe in the meantime. So yeah, I'll be back next week for the Man United game. I say maybe a few more bits in between as well, we'll see. But that's it for today then. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. It was an absolute disaster. Don't let the 2-2 scoreline think in any way that was good, because it wasn't. But anyway, we will be back very soon on Tuesday, so join us for that. Terry says, laters all in the chat, have a great weekend and all stay safe and don't let Arteta ruin it. No, he's not going to ruin a weekend. It's a bank holiday weekend. Last bank holiday till Christmas as well, so we've got to enjoy it, haven't we? The sun's sort of out here a little bit. It's been raining elsewhere. I'm sure we'll get it as well. But let's enjoy it, okay? Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, I will see you very, very soon. Join Adam and Steve on Tuesday. And yeah, take it easy, guys. Come on, you guys.